Awesome.
Hi, Twitch chat.
Hello, Twitch.
Wow, hello.
Oh my goodness, I gotta pull this up on my phone.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure. I'll try not to get distracted by chat if they're saying things.
Check out chat. The people are always very nice. They're very supportive. Last week when I had the technical failure, they were all still here cheering us on. So yeah, I appreciate that about the community. It's times like that where I'm really happy that I'm part of the drone community, even though I don't fly drones, because like in working for DCL, I've obviously come to know a few pilots and be involved obviously on Discord and social media and stuff, and it's a really awesome community. So this is why I'm like really happy to do this every week. So hi everyone, welcome to What the Quad by DCL. I'm Jess, your hostess with the mostest. I don't know who I stole that from, but that was terrible. With me tonight, our special, amazing, esteemed guest, David Modig, aka Longcat, who is from Raiden Racing, who is in the finals on the weekend. So we'll be talking about that a little bit. Mason Lively, aka Hyper, who is a new addition to the Quad Force 1 team. And Max Heiligman, aka gMan, who was a wildcard pilot last year. And this year has been selected by China Dragons to join their team. So all three of them are racing on the weekend. So of course we're going to talk loads about that, which is going to be awesome.
That was fun.
Indeed.
So I think I want to ask Mason this first, or do you prefer that I call you Hyper or Mason?
Either or. Okay.
I'm a first name person, but if you guys prefer to be called by your FPV names, let me know. So Mason, it was your first Drone Grand Prix, well, virtual Drone Grand Prix. So how was that as an experience?
Very different. I'm used to a really just a live race format where it's a certain amount of heats, a certain format, you do certain things. Yeah. Coming into this with both just the production level that we had to achieve and then the racing format itself taking place over the majority of a day, it's like a marathon. It's very different from every other race type that we really have. And it's a little daunting at first, but I think as we go on with the season, we're going to start to really fall into rhythm with the whole production, really.
I'd add to that. I think that for most of the teams, at least from my experience, I only raced in one Grand Prix last year. And of course, we were the wild card, and it was a format that was single elimination. So instead, we were just knocked out right away. And so I think that having every team have to adjust to that kind of marathon of a day is definitely going to make for an interesting thing. And I think that it's going to be real different moving forward as teams kind of plan for that.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
definitely.
Well, I think one of the things, I mean, spoiler alert, X-Blades won. But I think, though, one of the things that I find interesting there is it's not too surprising, but where it's not too surprising is it's because they were always in finals last year. And like you say, it's a new format. It's a marathon that a lot of teams who are used to being eliminated, in the first round, second round, aren't necessarily used to doing that much racing. And as time will go on, obviously everyone else is going to be used to doing that much racing. And I think the gap can actually close. And I think that we have a really interesting title race up this year. Obviously, in the DCL background, we were kind of looking and thinking, okay, what's going to happen here and what do you think? So that X-Planes wins the first one. We're all not that surprised, but I think that they're obviously developed, honestly. But China Dragons last year was one of the bottom teams, and this year ended up fourth, I believe. No, fifth? Fourth.
Yeah, fifth, but it was super close.
But
I mean, we had a rerun
really
that.
What, 2 points maybe?
Yeah, and we had a rerun that cost us those 2. I mean, it's okay, though. There was things left, and we had a disconnect against you guys, too, which cost us a point or more, even.
Hysen, I think.
Yeah, exactly. But, that's drone racing. Technical issues happen in real drone racing, like left, right, and center. So sometimes you're the fastest one out there, but you just go down,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's if you look at the leader...
But we weren't,
Oh yeah, go. Sorry.
We got.
Oh no, everyone's
Uh-oh.
frozen.
Oh no.
It's okay. We're coming back, I think.
You're like,
It was
hear you guys.
working.
Do you have the stream open, Jessica? Jess, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe close it or just hide it.
yeah, or just pause the stream for yourself
yeah, pause the stream for like
read the chat.
bandwidth. Yeah, exactly. Just get chat open, chat only.
Yeah.
I don't know. That might help.
I don't know how to do that.
You can pop out the chat window.
Yeah, at the bottom of the chat window.
Yeah.
It's like where is it again? In the the little gear icon, and then it's like the first things pop out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's popped out, but when I wait.
And then you can just pause the stream for yourself,
How'd you pause the
so
stream?
it doesn't steal all your bandwidth. Just hit the pause button, or hit space when you're selected the stream, and in your browser.
Oh, you mean in the browser? No, I just have OBS open.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
all
Oh,
right.
then that shouldn't be causing a problem.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you can hide the I don't think it. I think that was just an internet hiccup. We're from all over the place, right? So,
Yeah.
Let's just pretend it's you
We're
guys
okay.
and not me. I still like
I
my
think it
show.
was honestly, I think it was my fault. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's,
Come
it's
on,
probably this
I know.
slow Swedish internet causing that.
I appreciate you guys wanting me to keep my job. Thank
Where's
you.
my Ethernet?
Right, sorry. Back to the races. So
Yeah.
it was really, really close. If you look at the score points at the end, of that leaderboard at the end of the round robin, it was obviously like you said, there were 2 points difference. So for me, that really shows that I personally love the round robin format. I think that's so much more exciting, and it makes for a lot more interesting races, and it gives everyone kind of more of an opportunity to actually fight for it. And so I think that we have a really interesting season coming up.
For sure.
Yeah.
With all you guys
If I
in
can
it.
add to that too about the marathon thing, and I feel like we were in a unique position because we knew how many points we needed to get. SSX was sitting on the final section, and we were going up against X-Blades. And so we had this internal conversation like, well, we need to score 21 points. We figured out, we thought it was going to be we thought it was 20. And we knew we could tie them though, because we were ahead on the qualifying.
Yeah.
And so, we went into it, and then I was kind of almost just joking with Star, like, just 1-2 these guys, and then we did. And sent it to Lucas and Hasten with the lead, and it was just super exciting. But, we were so close. As if Zamora would have made one little mistake, it would have just been, we would have been tied, and it would have been a whole different story.
Oh yeah.
We would have been racing Hyper. It would have been a blast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would have been fun. Little rematch from round 1.
Exactly. Then everybody in my Whoop league wanted that to happen because we were, I'm racing Levi in that league that night.
Oh,
So it was,
gotcha.
yeah. Pretty funny. But
And what happened with the race that night?
that night we ended up in third, my team, and Levi's team took first again, which they've done a bunch. They're in first overall right now going. It's championships this week coming up. It's like so
Nice.
it's gonna be real fun this weekend.
Is
If
it
anybody can win it. So
Anybody
is it
can win it.
Yeah, it's like
virtual
a
tournament?
King of the Hill. Yeah. Racing tiny whoops in Velocidrome.
Cool.
Yeah. If anybody watches the Josh Bardwell's drone news stuff, Blunty talks about the Weebly League. It's that league.
Oh, okay.
He's on the
nice.
team with Levi. Yeah. So it's gonna be fun. I definitely came in with very little practice after the Grand Prix, and I was exhausted.
Yeah, I imagine.
I think everyone was after that day.
You guys must have been pumped up, David.
Yeah, do you function
medals.
off of adrenaline when you get to a final? After like 8 hours?
I mean 8 hours is a bit of an understatement for
Well,
us.
you guys got up
'Cause-
earlier to practice, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
I since I have a baby and I woke up at like 7 a.m. So what was there to do? Just get up, take care of the baby, and then start grinding, practicing, warming up. So I think it ended up being like a 15-hour or 16-hour day at the end of it. So we were all pretty exhausted, but we were so pumped to get into a grand final finally.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
Pretty impressive.
and like you
Same
held
with-
your own in it as well.
Oh yeah, we I think we did pretty good in the finals. It was close. Just had some bad luck, I guess. Could happen to anyone. But we were, after the first small heats, we were just 2 points away. So we could have taken it from X-Blades, but we didn't, and we're still happy with second place.
Fist and
How was
Mayans was first for a while in there, wasn't he as well?
Oh yeah, he
In the
was
big
he was
heats.
first. Yeah, in the big heat, he was first. Pretty far into it, I think, until the third lap, we had a tiny mistake, and that just allowed both Min Chan and Killian to pass him. And I was hanging on for dear life in fourth place, trying to keep up with all these kids. I'm decently happy with my performance in the finals. Looking back at how I did earlier in the day, so yeah.
I think you guys, like the entire team, you can be really proud of yourselves that you held your own like that, because it was a long day of racing. You were up against, the current title holders in a completely new format, tracks that you don't necessarily have a lot of experience on, and you guys really fought it out. So honestly, congratulations on that, because you look at Raiden's results last year versus this year, whole different ballpark, and that's really amazing. I'm happy for you.
Oh yeah,
guys.
I think we like last season we got off to a decent start, but we improved quite a bit during the season, and so it feels like we kind of just picked up where we left off last season, starting to hit podiums. So hopefully that's going to be the continuation of this season, and maybe even being able to win a few of the Grand Prix.
See. And Max, obviously you, like you said, you'd raced as a wildcard pilot last year, and you only really got one race. It was against X-Blades, I think, as well.
Yeah, I guess 2 because it was 2 days. But
true, yeah.
Yeah.
And then this year you're now part of an official team, and you're also racing kind of the whole day. So how are you feeling, firstly, about being selected by China Dragons, and about the fact that you got to race the entire day?
Wow, it feels great to over the last year, since kind of the last draft, I just kind of stuck with it, raced in more and more events all over the place in various simulators mainly, and just kept kind of grinding away. And so it feels like he's kind of showing up during races. Yeah, sorry.
The internet bugged.
Sorry.
We continue.
Okay. No, it just feels like kind of a culmination of a lot of work. And I even had a funny moment when we were during the qualifications and we were racing Playground. I jumped onto Playground first. I figured it was going to be the most technical. I wanted to start on something technical, and I jumped there, and immediately I was like, yeah, this, like, it felt awesome, right? But then each different part of the track, it was like a movie montage in my head of like all these different tracks I raced and all these different leagues I was in. And I'm like remembering like this one tunnel from the Whoop League, and then this ladder switchback section is like this one track that we did, and just all the time of learning tracks quickly really is what the difference from me like last year to now is. Like that's really like I can almost get similar speeds if I grinded back then, but now I can get those speeds so much more rapidly and more consistently. So awesome. It feels, it was fun to race. It was partly, I'm not sure if I'll race in the next GP. We'll see. My team's got a lot of fast guys on it, and partly one of the reasons I raced was because it was my time zone, which I think was a benefit in the end. Because it was very late and a long day for X-Blades, and from like Min Chan,
especially for the guys in Korea.
Exactly. The Supersonic X team must have been knackered, the poor guys.
Yeah, I mean, Gabe from our team in Australia also had a pretty rough time.
Harsh.
That's right overnight.
Yeah, that's an hour later than Korea, so he
for sure.
I think the first race was like after midnight, So he was literally sitting
Full reverse schedule.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
So he when we finished, his parents went up for breakfast.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
Our
but
team is all
surely-
really spread all over the place. It's pretty nuts.
Isn't that the age though where you go clubbing and you come home at 6 in the morning anyway?
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess.
I've definitely done that before.
Uh-huh.
I think the moment I realized that I maybe had come home too late is there were children playing on the street. And I was like, okay, yeah, maybe I should stop going out this late. It's probably good.
It gets to the point where you have to call it early and not late.
It's exactly like that.
Yeah.
I do recommend it though in Berlin, going out as the sun comes up. Gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So,
Mhm.
Mason, how did you end up on Quad Force One? Like, what was the selection process? Did you go through the draft, or how did that kind of happen?
So it was a multi-part process. The first interaction I had with Quad Force One was from the team last year.
Okay.
Just being that they race with us, in real life here. I'm good friends with them, and they've seen me over the past year racing with them and consistently performing, alongside them. And that kind of led into the 2020 Multi-GP Championship, where the Quad Force One manager actually attended to look for pilots that he might want to add to the team. So we had a conversation there about DCL and the opportunities there, and maybe if there was a spot for the team for me, I just needed to step up to the plate and really show that I had the chops to do it. And going through the draft, I played a little bit in the draft. I didn't play as hard as I probably could have. I didn't go for like a top position. I just wanted to know that I was in it. I kind of assumed it was like a normal draft where as soon as you were picked, it was over. And I had plans to sort of kind of be on Quad Force One already. So I slid in the 25th, 26th area on the leaderboard, I think. And just happily got picked up by them, and we're here now.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely a highlight. This is the first professional league that I've ever been a part of, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I can already tell.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Max, for you, so you were wildcard last year, and so was it the China Dragons had they already previously contacted you, or how did that kind of?
Yeah, it was just before, like, as the draft qualification part started up, they like partway, not too long into it, maybe the first week or something, Star reached out and kind of just put the feeler out. And I was wondering, I was getting to the point where I was like, maybe I should reach out to teams and remind them that I'm eligible to be picked up because I'm a official pilot. I didn't need to go through any of the other channels or whatever. And so I was just about to do that. And then Star reached out to me. And honestly, I love the guys on China Dragons. And with kind of focusing on the virtual part of the Grand Prix to try to see what we could do. And I think they picked up some extremely strong pilots. So it's going to be a fun year. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been going through the list of all the new pilots. Some names I know from obviously people who've been playing DCL the game for a while, and some I know less. But the pool of talent that has come in this year, I say this every year, but it's insane.
It just keeps getting better and better.
It really does. And I mean, when you think that, for example, David and Silas Aaron is the same thing. Were both draft picks last year, and this year they're both team captains. So obviously the draft picks are good. I think for me this is proof that I guess the draft selection works. Is you end up with these pilots winning all sorts of things, and it's really cool. So we're really happy to have all you guys in.
Yeah, the draft is great.
The draft is definitely doing well, and it shows just if you look at the spread. I'd like just the balance between the teams last year. There were teams that you knew were going to be, close to podium top 4, and there were teams you knew just were going to be bottom 4, unfortunately.
Yeah.
This year, it's very, very different. You've seen, like, China Dragons especially has, I don't know if it's 3 or 4 new pilots that flew this week. No, it's 2. Just Star and Lucas. Hysen was already on the
Lucas and
team.
me.
Yeah, Heisen
Oh.
and Star were there last year.
Star was here last year? I
Yeah.
totally missed that.
He was this
Yeah.
draft in the second. Yeah.
It's really gone insane in the last year then.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
So he's
Very fast.
He is. He actually did a demonstration. I see you in the chat, Star. A few weeks ago
I see you there.
of a PC pilot flying on Xbox, I think it was, in order to kind of see, if you're switching from one platform to the other, because a lot of people make the switch from console to PC, but we don't really see the opposite switch to kind of see the differences essentially in the gameplay if you're on one platform or the other, and the times were obviously lesser. It's the FPS rate, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah. I remember it was a pretty big discussion in the Discord about that after the draft, and the fact that to be able to race in the DCL races that you have to be on PC. So there were some console players being a little bit upset about that. But obviously there's like technical reasons why you can't race on a console.
Yeah.
So it was pretty interesting to see him doing the comparison of how fast a fast pilot is from PC going to a console.
Did he go fast? I missed that. You had to talk.
It did go pretty fast, but not as fast as on PC.
We'll have to try
But he
Lego
beat
Clone there
all
too.
of the console pilots, or
Yeah,
at
that
least
makes
their
sense.
current times at that point in time.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Wow.
But I mean, he is a pro pilot. To be fair, that's a little bit unfair to the console pilots who are obviously not
for sure.
necessarily pro.
Yeah,
But
100%.
It's not easy
Fair.
to use a Xbox controller though to make the switch for sure. It
Definitely
would take
not.
me a little bit to get used to it.
On an Xbox controller, no less. The PS4 controller is one thing because the sticks are at the same level, but the Xbox are split vertically too,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
weird.
which is super weird.
Unless you just use a transmitter on the console.
yeah, I think he was using
that
a
could work too.
transmitter.
Oh, he was?
I think
Oh, cool.
so. I don't know.
I didn't think you
Star.
could do that on Xbox.
What
Yeah,
did
he's
you-
in the thing.
Yeah, let's ask him.
He was on.
Oh, he was on a
he was on a.
PS4
It was a
with a
PS4, so
transmitter.
it wasn't.
Okay,
Uh-huh. Yeah,
PS4 controllers.
that makes
Yeah.
more sense. It was no.
It
He
is
was
very
using a
ergonomic.
transmitter.
Yeah.
Oh, he was using a transmitter.
Yeah, I think this is one question we get a lot, so I'm going to clarify it now. We cannot do. No, I'm going to reformulate. We can technically do cross-platform. The problem is that Microsoft, Sony, and Steam. Steam isn't really in the mix, but Microsoft
They
and
don't
Sony
agree.
are arch enemies, and
Yeah.
getting them to cooperate so that we could do cross-platform is just not doable. We've tried. It's not a lack of trying, guys. We want cross-platform as well, but they're just not cooperating, and we don't necessarily have Call of Duty type money to be able to get them to cooperate. Because if you're, Call of Duty, you can come in and pay your millions and millions, and it's weird how companies cooperate when
even
you
think
give
that
them
they did that.
millions. No, there are a few
Yeah,
select games who do have cross-platform available, but unfortunately we don't, and I don't think we ever will. Just to clarify, Twitch chat.
It's the sad truth of game development.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Bureaucracy.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we'd really love to.
Leaderboards, maybe?
It would be so much
We have
fun,
them.
but yeah. In the meantime,
Yeah.
if you do want to take part in the official pro races, that is why you'd have to be on a PC. However, you can qualify on a console. You just have to be able to then access a PC for the races. Again, we get asked this question a lot, so I'm clarifying now. The teams make the decision, DCL does not. Before you guys come into my DMs and ask me why you weren't selected.
Yes, please. Why
Can I-
didn't I get selected?
Yeah.
You
Put
guys
me on
have
a
no
team.
idea the DMs I get.
I believe it. I mean, last year I felt like I was like I thought I was good enough to get selected, and I had ranked high enough, and so I had a lot of the similar like kind of questions and feelings and things. But I kind of, all it did was drive me to get better, and so that's what I did, and that's my advice to anybody who didn't make it. It's just just go faster, be consistent. You're gonna make it.
I think the consistency is a really important one. Because it's something you see that there are certain pilots who keep starting, not necessarily because they're the fastest, but because they're dependable. And you know that you know what times they're going to get when you're flying them. And this is something that I think a lot of, especially younger pilots, need to maybe work on a little bit more, is continuously flying to be able to get to that point where you're consistent. And so you, Max, who's obviously now been flying for a while, and you've been able to now showcase, THV and yourself have been consistently in the top of the leaderboards of all the DCL trials. So obviously teams know that you're dependable now, and that makes
kind of knowing how to where your race pace, how to ratchet back your speed safely, and when where you can push, where you can't, and also I can get close to the times that these other guys are doing almost every time during the race, but I can't do it every time, so it's I shouldn't even try really, unless we know. And it's wild in this format because the points at the beginning matter as much as the points at the end. Yeah. And so, I try to remind our guys that hey, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Kind of thing. But it's it's weird. It's an interesting thing because if you're on pace and the other people make mistakes, you can just get points. So you have to decide if you want to push or not. I actually kind of have a question for these two guys. Yeah. You guys both raced the big heat, and big heats are kind of not a thing that we've done yet in it. How was that? Well, yeah, great. Especially with the 4 laps.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. I wish we did more than just one big heat.
Definitely more than one. Yeah,
it was super fun. And you get when you have teammates that you can depend on, you get a sense of security to push a little bit extra hard, because since it's only the top 4 pilots that get points, you can push a little bit extra, and if you mess up, hopefully you have your teammates being able to back you up and take that place instead. So I think it was a lot of fun doing the big heats.
Yeah, mostly the same. It was just I knew kind of where my team was. I tend to actually watch the little thing on the bottom left for the race position. Yeah, I'm bad like that. But I tend to watch that. Just watching where the team kind of is, it's a little nerve-wracking because there's so many things that could possibly go wrong, but there's also so much that has to go right for you guys to secure the points, especially with it being the top 4.
Oh yeah,
getting points. Yeah. I didn't realize that at first, and then we did the heat, and they were like, "Oh no, only top 4 got points." And then now knowing that, it's a little bit different of a race.
Your strategy, exactly. You'd be less conservative once you fall back. Maybe you got to extend it. Yeah, interesting. We actually had a suggestion for maybe speeding up the event, right, by doing one heat. One heads up heat, and then the 2 versus 2 like we did. Yeah. Not 2 heats, but 1, and then a big heat in each round robin. So it'd only be 3 heats instead of 4. So in theory, that could speed things up. Yeah. We passed that along. Maybe they'll consider it. But then we'd get big heats every time.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty fun.
But, that would. Last year, we wanted to put big heats as a tiebreaker. And then no one was
never got a tie
anymore. Yeah. At the beginning, everyone was tying, and so we're like, okay, we put in big heats, and then everyone stopped tying. And we're like, what do we have to do to get a big heat?
That was actually super annoying because I know
everybody wanted it.
Yeah, everybody wanted it, and I know that we had, I think we had 2 ties with Falcons, now SSX, and I think the race after we had our last tie with them, the big heats were a thing, and we didn't get knocked out on qualifying anymore. And then we just stopped tying, and our team started doing better in qualifying, so we didn't face Falcons anymore. It was a bummer.
It would also be cool to send one pilot because it's digital. I feel like it's easier to do different things, and it'd be cool if every round there was you sent 1 pilot from each team, and every pilot had to go once, and there was 4 races where it was 1 pilot from each team or something. That'd be pretty wild.
Yeah, like the old IRL days.
Yeah. Exactly. Right.
Well, kind of like we did with the Women's Cup then, where it's one pilot represents each team. So that was a lot of fun too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was a lot of
But,
good
I
racing
gotta-
on the weekend.
Yeah. Lots of races, a very long day, but I think it was an improvement from last year because it wasn't, you didn't get knocked out after the first race, and you just had last year your day could be an hour or something like that, and then you're done.
And the most frustrating thing about that was that your rankings at the bottom, anywhere below fourth place, were determined by how many points you scored against the teams you faced.
Singular team
the
that you
singular
faced.
team you face. So it's just like,
Yeah.
and that's how Hot Props, we stole some points off of X-Blades and managed to actually get like 5th place or something because we scored
really
points,
Yeah.
but with like 2 points,
Yeah.
So it's just much better. That was super exciting, and teams understanding the strategy now. Everything's going to be different. So
Yeah.
Definitely a solid format now.
Yeah, I think the round robin,
Super cool.
I think everyone can agree from all sides, from team sides, DCL, from a audience perspective, is just so much more interesting and challenging. It's just that it was very, very long. And I think,
you just gotta
you were
figure that out.
suggesting your big heat. So we need to look at, I don't know, honestly, what's going to happen, if there are going to be changes. I can imagine there will be a few small things changing, but
speed it up.
I think
You gotta just
we'll
race
have to
faster.
exactly.
Gotta fly faster,
This
man.
is
Come on.
your guys'
We
fault.
got this.
If you all flew at the same
sorry.
speed as MCK and who was it who got the other fastest? Killian Rousseau, I think. No. I think it was Thunder.
Killian had a PB, I think.
Okay.
Or the,
then
one of
it
the
was two
DQs,
MCK
right?
and 1 Killian.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Killian is
One day.
overshadowed when he's like just as gnarly good.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's just that. It's a constant battle between Minchan, Killian, Vicent, and Min J. Those 4 pilots are always like,
who's the
within
fastest?
milliseconds usually. Yeah.
Can you
it's
imagine a
crazy.
team if
gonna
you put
be-
all 4 of them together?
No, please don't.
He doesn't want to.
No, please don't.
Stuff with
Please don't.
nightmares. No
The
one would want to
lag.
race anymore.
The lag.
No, please don't.
They
We
go
need to
behind
spread out
every
the
time.
kids in different teams.
Star brings up something great in chat. For our team, when we were picking our pairs, we discussed a bunch. Like, are people going to pick their better pilots first? Are they going to split them up? Some teams change their pairings.
Yeah.
We decided to keep the same pairings, and we were like, how do we decide who goes first or second? And we kind of decided we wanted, against the teams we felt like we needed to, like the teams that were stronger than us, we decided to just flip a coin. We literally flipped a coin.
Really?
But it ended up going the same way every time. And it just went with Thomas and I first. And we were just like, okay, well, I guess that was destiny for us to go first.
Yeah.
We literally flipped the coin 4 times and it was heads every time.
That's kind of
Sometimes you
interesting. The
just have
strategy
to-
of like,
Yeah.
Yeah, go Mason. Sorry, I was going to ask.
oh, okay. The strategy of like who you're placing. I think we probably spent 30 or 40 minutes on that. Honestly, it was filled out 7 slots, 8 slots.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a lot of thinking who was going to be in, who was racing, how the other teams would react, and that's just going to be big going through the season. I'm not sure everyone actually did that so much. Like China Dragons, I assume
We'll
didn't
do it
because you guys
more.
had placed the same people.
Yeah. Well, we were going
They
to
did
flip
a
the
coin.
order.
Yeah.
We ended up.
I know now, but
We metagamed.
And are these
We
processes?
took ourselves outside of it.
Are these processes where it's mainly just like the team manager who just kind of sits there and down and is like, okay, this is what we think, or does everyone in the team, like all of the pilots, do you actually get a little bit of a say on how you'd like it to go? Who do you think you'd go well with in a pairing, etc.?
Yeah, so in our team, we have a very, flat organization. So everyone has their say, and we all discuss together what we want to do, and come with ideas and stuff like that. For this race, we didn't really have much of a plan for the pilot pairings because it's really difficult to try and anticipate what the other teams are going to do. So our plan was basically keep it simple, and since me and Vicent raced every race last year, we just wanted our experienced pilots to not be in the same groups, so we could have our new pickups with one experienced pilot. And it ended up working out pretty good for us. And even Gabe, who flew with me, did better than me overall. So yeah.
What a pick!
For next. Oh yeah. He was a super good pickup for us, and really completes our lineup. So now we have a pretty solid team of pilots that we can pick from for the races.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think we went about it just a little bit different. It started off at the end of one of our team meetings. We kind of discussed a little bit of, hey, who should go against which group? But it turned out that personally, I wanted to do a lot more research and see who was flying and kind of think about it. So myself and Silas actually stayed after the meeting and spent 30-40 minutes on really nailing down a strategy to see who was going to be where. A couple things that were weird. We didn't expect Singularity to be flying. That was a little different.
Yeah.
And then I didn't exactly know the China Dragons roster, which made things a little hard. But once we sat down and went through it with a couple of guesses here and there, and just got it approved by our manager and went from there.
Nice. I feel like it'd be interesting if we knew the schedule, the day, when you were facing each different team, that in the future could affect things.
Well, we did have the order, right?
I don't know. It was we knew we had the lineups though. We knew who was racing at least when we did ours. So we knew who, but we didn't know obviously.
You didn't know the groupings, yeah.
The group, yeah. And I actually was under the impression I misunderstood or just missed it in the translation somewhere. I missed the that you could switch the pilot pairs. I thought you were stuck with the person you were with.
No, we did that a lot. We actually switched.
You guys.
I don't think we ran the same group twice in a row.
That's super cool. It's interesting. Then you can see kind of what works, what doesn't, and maybe just I don't know, get lucky.
But I think that's kind of the idea that you can switch. Because I also, when I first read the rules, was like, wait, do you have to keep the same two pilots the whole time, or how does it work? And it's like you said, though, then you can then test, what pairings work well, and how there's a whole strategy of, do you put your two best pilots together so you're kind of sure that you get the 7 points, or do you split them up so that you can think you can get 4-4 and then kind of don't really care? Obviously you want your pilot to get 1-2, that goes without saying, but everyone looks at it differently, I guess, and it was kind of interesting to see how the teams had gone about it depending on which team they were against as well, because I don't know if people know this, but you don't know in advance how the other team has done their pairings, and I think you don't know in advance which 4 they picked at all.
No, unless they announce it on social media or something.
Okay, maybe we just got it.
We have no idea.
Yeah.
And bonus also, insight.
People change their names on Steam to their name.
Oh yeah,
that's always a little difficult.
For the last day.
You're just searching Facebook.
I didn't realize people do that.
We'll make sure to have every pilot in our team change their name.
Confusion tactics.
Yeah. I just had a.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say, an interesting idea how in this format with the round robin, you could potentially have more pilots from the teams, a deeper, have bench and have to swap, have everybody race at least a heat or something. That's kind of, that'd be interesting.
That bumps the attendance requirement is the only thing.
No, 100%. I don't think it's actually functional, but it's potentially it works because of
it. Could be something though.
You could technically have lots of pilots being ready, have
really cool mashups.
Yeah, X-Blades could have different pilots for every race.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a technical nightmare and a logistical nightmare, and asking a lot of all the pilots to train.
Yeah.
I think on a technical level, it's not actually that complex. From what I understood, you kind of just flip a switch. But I think it's more of a logistical nightmare. of making
Yeah.
sure that, you know, all the pilots are there on time, all the pilots have done their checks, all the pilots have everything.
Definitely.
And I think that's why in the World Championship, at least doing the 4 pilots per team, I think it works. And also that you stay, you know, together and train with each other and stuff gives you
Totally.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
if you have like 12. I mean, it's a total of 10 other, so 9 other pilots that you're flying with on a constant basis. That could get a bit confusing on one same race day. But
For sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
I suppose maybe just like 2 more pilots or something, but even so, it's like, you know,
Yeah.
it's just a.
I think I can only get to like remember 5 names. That's a lot of names to remember, man.
the limit. And you got to remember their real name and their FPV
Oh,
name.
dude, that's-
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
terrible with
lot.
FPV names. Like, I know most people's
Yeah.
real name, but I know like in the FPV community, obviously you guys are like really big on FPV names. So when people are like, "Oh, this person," you know, David, every time you'd be like Thunder, I was like, wait, who's that?
You're like, hold on.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because we're pretty much everyone is used to just using the FPV names, at least over the internet. Because we most of the time when we speak to people around the community, it's like on Discord or we see someone on the leaderboards.
Yeah.
So that's like the natural way ends up being using FPV names most of the time.
Yeah, you just see the FPV name far more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've never
you
heard the
guys.
story of where Longcat comes from. I'd be curious to know
He
your
likes
name.
Oh.
cats, but yes, go.
Yeah. I mean, it's I think it's just started being a thing when I was in school, and the OG meme of Longcat was a thing.
What is that?
And it just picked up from there. Have you not seen that, Jess?
Okay, what is the OG meme of
It's like-
Longcats?
No, just Google Longcat, and that's like.
Oh
the-
yeah, but they
yeah.
just keep extending it. Yeah, I forgot about that.
So that's like the one of
Longest
the
cat.
grandfathers.
Oh,
like that's
yeah, I know that one.
thing. Yeah.
Creamy.
So I think
Wow.
it's just from back then.
It's
just
longer than all the
stuck.
memes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How did
what
you
about-
get Longcat? Like, how do you go from being that you end up being a meme? Is it just because you like cats, or because you really like the meme?
I liked the meme, and it just was like a name I used when we played CS in class,
Okay.
and then it just stuck from there. I think.
Melissa
Nice.
FPV in
What
the
about you,
chat just
Hype?
gave us a long fox.
Yeah, long.
Let's pretend it's like an orange cat.
Exactly.
He's also a long cat.
Yeah.
I thought you were just gonna hold up your cat and be like, "See, look at how big he is."
Yeah,
Exactly.
if
He
he
has
was
an
here-
orange cat.
Yeah. If
got a
he
long
was
drone.
in this
Yeah, he
room, I would, but he would annoy everyone because he is the meowiest of cats. He just likes talking, so I'll substitute him for a long DCL kind
Long.
of.
That is-
He's beautiful.
It's like the same
Yeah.
size as your background. I didn't expect it.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is difficult to do.
Quality right there.
Unbelievable.
It's all
okay,
backwards.
I need to hold a tiny drone in
Okay,
front of
so-
this drone.
It's a little keychain.
It's actually pretty big. It was a lot bigger than I thought when I got it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, the
crazy.
Yeah, I don't
DCL
think I've seen
canopies
one
are
yet.
massive.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hopefully, we get those.
Wait,
Yeah,
I
if
have
you
a
race
DCL
real life,
drone
you'll
over
have
here.
to.
You have a full quad. Oh boy.
Okay, so ignore the fact that it looks like I'm flying for Apex.
Don't worry about that. It's just a
Traitor.
That's-
practice canopy.
Yeah, practice canopy. So
Oh,
it's-
wow.
Oh, the braces are disappearing.
Oh, it's
That's
just not
awesome.
painted yet.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
practice canopy, but
Oh,
it's
cool.
it's huge.
That's a.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that. That's what I'm really excited for.
It's huge, and it's a lot of fun to fly. It's,
And it's like a reverse dead cat.
yeah, it's pretty.
It's like the
narrow in front.
Yeah.
what's the snow speeder in Star Wars?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I actually flew it for the first time.
How is it?
It was. I mean,
Big.
it's big, it's heavy, and it's kind of slow, and it's big, and it's heavy, and it's kind of slow. So yeah, I think there's few things that's positive about flying the DCL drone compared to
I appreciate the
a normal
feedback.
5-inch racer, but the thing is that it's
spec.
it has it's a spec quad,
Yeah.
and it's big, and it's supposed to be very visible for a spectator standpoint, and it sure is, because I'm like, even during the middle of the day, I'm getting blinded by the LEDs.
Well, and it's supposed to be challenging to fly a little bit too, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
That's just a part of it. Yeah.
But do you feel like
it's so bright.
Do you feel like it is similar to when you're flying in the sim though?
Yeah, it is. But except for the fact that I'm super scared to crash this one because I don't want to break it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very, very similar in feel and how you have to like kind of keep momentum going a little bit more than with a normal tiny 5-inch racer that you can just oh shit, I messed up a turn, but I can just power through it. This one you have to be more prepared and keep smooth lines and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to fly.
That sounds really exciting. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, I'm really excited that we hopefully get to do all of this in real life, because it's going to be really exciting in real life as well. It's a whole different experience apparently. I joined DCL just before, like, February last year. So it was like, oh yeah, we're going to all of these cool locations. And it's like, well, actually, so I've only ever done the virtual events. So I'm just as excited as everyone else to be able to go to the real life ones.
Oh yeah,
I bet it'll be crazy.
It's going to be awesome. So, Hyper, how did you get your FPV name to follow on gMan's question?
Yeah, that's what
Mine's got a little history. I've been around in the RC hobbies for like 12 to 13 years at this point. I know I look probably 12 to 13. I'm actually 20.
Yeah, it's got to be half your life.
Yeah, it's more than half my life at this point. But so my dad got me into it. He flies 3D helis and has for a long time, and planes and all that.
Okay.
And he went by just on the forums, he went by the name of ADHD. So I was like, oh, I'll carry that on a little bit.
Aww.
Maybe come up with a play on words of that. And I went with Hyper, and it sounded good, felt good. It's stuck ever since.
Yeah.
And that was 2015, I think.
Oh, that's lovely.
I still remember chasing that name in my first Sims on Liftoff.
Good old Liftoff.
Yeah.
Those were good times.
I never thought I'd ever catch up. Not in a million years.
Look at you now. We're
exactly.
get to race once a month at least.
We'll see.
Aw.
Yeah.
You'll be there. You'll be there.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. Yeah.
And gMan, I mean, even though the answer is relatively obvious, but you can say it. Do you know what?
It's my name.
But I just realized that.
It took me so long to realize this.
Oh yeah, I realized it like this weekend. I never even thought about it before.
I was a longtime Counter-Strike player though, and like Half-Life fan. So I was on the team back in the day, and actually I can't remember what my name was. It was like it was actually Bio. That's like my name on Twitch here, gMan Bio.
That's a good one.
And for a long time, and then I remember why it came up, but my team, like captain in Counter-Strike, was like, dude, your name is gMan. It's like in your name. And I was just like, oh, gMan. And then I was like, that's cool. Let's do it. And then as I started doing FPV stuff, I realized there's some other gMans out there. And then I think the way it works in FPV though, it's like Highlander. The fastest one. Name. You know?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. So if I beat MCK, I can rename
You
myself
become
MCK.
Just want to rule them all.
And then I will be the MCK, but from Sweden and twice as old.
This is one thing that I find. He's like 16 or 17.
Yeah.
He is. I think he just turned 17.
It's insane.
Yeah.
He's so young.
It's
shows us the way.
I mean, pretty much
I think all of us feel very old compared to that.
Yeah. So all of the super fast pilots are very young.
Almost.
Yeah. Pretty much the majority of them are.
Yeah.
And it's definitely noticeable that you're a bit older because it takes a lot more grinding to keep up.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's a difference in this when you're racing in real life, though? That in the sim, maybe younger pilots have more edge, but maybe in real life, because you guys have more actual real life experience, that kind of shows?
So that doesn't show so much in speed, but there's a lot of things that go into real life race experience, like your preparedness level, and that's something the kids seem to struggle with a lot. The consistency and maintaining your cool under pressure. It's just things. A lot of the kids are still working on being people.
Oh yeah.
So they can't fully focus on actually racing.
Yep.
And it's just, that's the one thing that seems to really.
Oh yeah, that's
different.
really noticeable when I've been to other big events, like when you have a team of pilots and there's one or two that's a little bit younger, you really have to be like, okay, go do this, go do that. Now it's time for you to go fly. Are you ready? But if you just give them a little push or a kick, they're just okay. Now it's time to go fly, and they go super fast.
Yeah, I feel like it's really important to have like your parents around you or some sort of people helping you when you're younger, because like as an adult, I mean, at least like if they're helping you build your drones and keeping you flying, like, and supporting you like even financially and getting you to these things, because it's like as an adult, like you can kind of just be okay with smashing your drone and buying another one if you have the money or something. You know what I mean? It's like you have just a different autonomy. You know?
Yeah,
so it's
definitely.
Like,
but do you not feel like as a kid, because it's not your money, you don't necessarily
that's
realize
true too. I mean,
that like smashing a drone is going to cost a lot of money, because you're just like, oh yeah, it's just a drone. Like, they can pay for
and
another
if your parents
one.
are buying you,
I guess that
buying you new ones.
Yeah, it probably depends on your
if your parents are going to buy you another quad.
If your parents just says, if you break this one, you're not getting another one, then that's gonna I think it's gonna slow you down. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it slows you down, but maybe make you more consistent.
Maybe
it does.
Maybe it's probably a good thing in the long run.
Yeah, for sure. But
I definitely think so.
Yeah, it makes sense. You don't want to be sending it and breaking all your gear every race. You're not doing it right then. Yeah.
And
you can't be in first if you can't finish.
Yeah, there you go.
It's just what it
That's
is.
true.
And trust Hyper, that guy's in first a lot.
Wise words right there.
Mm-hmm.
So how long have you...
I like to get second, so...
At least consistently, but this is the thing that's actually with the new point system, consistently second is worth more than first every now and then.
Yeah. I was saying it like when you don't want to necessarily push because it's just 1 point. Like you're gonna push from second to first for 1 point. Like you want to beat that guy, but like later in the day, that 1 point, losing those points is much worse.
Yeah, you can gain a point, but you're potentially losing two.
Two, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to lose those two unless somebody really wiped out behind you,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Just a bobble, one turnaround.
Yeah, it's a bit different format. Like in this format, you have to have a different mindset in flying. So like last year, it felt like every team had one star pilot that was consistently delivering the points needed, and then the other pilot in the lineup with that pilot was just like a wild card. If he managed to get in second, there's just another extra point. Great, but if the really fast pilot crashes, it's pretty much game over. So I think it's a lot more exciting this year that it actually matters if you get in second or third and not being last. I think that's the biggest thing, not being last.
Especially in the
because
big
if you get
heats.
last, but in the regular heats, if you get last, the best you can do is tie that points. If somebody on your team gets last, so it's like that's basically the game. Don't get last.
Exactly.
Don't be last. That's like last year it was full send, hope you get first. If you crash, then you lost the round. But this year it's more like
Mm-hmm.
send it, but don't crash too hard and get last.
It's
and
more
it's a
like
points game. It's not we have the round robin matchups, but they don't. You can win more round robins and still have less points, like Raiden versus Quad Force 1. I think you guys won 4 of the 6. We won 5 of our 6.
Yeah.
Being that we lost we both lost to X-Blades, and then we beat you guys by, I think it was 2 or 3 points.
Yeah.
It was close. It was very close.
Was super close.
That's wild.
We
that
had
can happen.
Yeah, we had probably the best race of the day, I think. And
that full heat with us and Gabe. And
that was like the craziest heat.
Yeah, it was.
Like everyone within 1 second of each other.
I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it.
I had to go back and clip it. So anyone in chat can go back and watch it quickly. Just go to the Drone Champions League Twitch channel and check out the clips. That race was actually crazy.
It was.
It was 100% the best race. No one messed up. It was just pure pushing as hard as we could.
That race makes me want to get a heart rate monitor.
That's
what that race does.
That was 100% through the roof.
I was flipping between 60 and like 200. Just back and forth.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't have to do a big heat after that, because I wouldn't have been able to focus, because I was shaking crazily after finishing.
So
that was intense.
Yeah,
sitting on the podium, they're like 30 seconds, or they're like 1 minute, and then it ends up being 4 minutes, and your heart's just pounding in your ears.
Oh yeah,
you're just waiting. I don't have music on during this racing, and I'm just like, epic. Every once in a while, crack a joke. Yeah, I think the format is great, because like things like Quad Force beating us in the round robin stage, but us still being able to get to the grand finals is a lot more fun than last year, and I think it evens out the playing field for everyone when because last year it felt pretty much like the entire race weekend was decided on qualifying.
It
was so
important.
important.
Matchups were off the bat.
Yeah, because we had some teams that were a little bit weaker, and when you qualified top 3, it almost felt like it was guaranteed that you would get through the first round. And qualifying 4th or 5th was a nightmare, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, that was always the
matchups,
worst when you're 4th or 5th, because you end up basically having, although for us it made for the best races, because that was your best quarterfinal. You knew that it was going to be.
Right?
It was pretty much every single time Falcons and Raiden.
Yeah, we had so many very, very good races against Falcons, and we were super hyped every race. But it was a little bit frustrating, because we knew that our teams were so evenly stacked up that like I said, it was pretty much a 1 point difference, or we tied, and was the same thing during qualifying. Our teams almost always qualified with basically the same time, and just battling it out between 4th and 5th the first races. So those races were super exciting, but also a little bit frustrating.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's part of, one of the big reasons why we chose to switch to the round robin format is. Why is that?
I assume you said switch to round robin.
Yeah.
We lost you for just needing that.
It just makes for far more, like a higher amount of interesting races, that it's not, the 4 versus 5 that is going to be good, and then you have to wait until the final until you get a race where it's closely matched up, because no matter what level you have within the league, even if you're kind of more of a bottom table team, all three or whatever, how many ever teams are kind of maybe a little bit less good, are still really close in level, so you're still going to get a really tight race there. And so it's just, it makes, I love the round robin format. I think it just makes it so much more exciting.
And consequential racing, you know, and every team gets to face the weak teams or whatever, right? It's like, it's just so much better. From a competitive standpoint, it feels so much better. And I barely participated last year, but just so hopefully we can figure out how to keep it tighter and faster, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe concurrent
First production.
racing or something. Yeah, that's it. Well, of course, yeah. Not like getting off schedule is one thing, but the day would be long even if it was right on, you know?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I think that's really cool about the round robin. Actually, sorry for talking over there, but
It's hard.
the fact that no matter what your favorite team is, you get to see them race everyone.
Yeah.
You don't watch one matchup. You get to see China Dragons versus Quad Force 1, and then Spain Drone Team, and then X Blades. Every one of your matchups that you could think about, you see every race.
Yeah, that's great.
4 times at least. Because there's 4 different heats.
If only we could do it on every track to really know.
I don't think you guys want that.
Yeah, one whole week. Yeah.
A whole week of just constant racing. Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
That would be great, but that would be a logistical nightmare. Some
Yeah,
people
3-day
have
event.
actual
Turn it into an
jobs and go to school. And stuff.
Actual jobs, right?
Yeah.
There's some questions that I will take from the audience.
Nice.
Well, Star asked, what do you think about matching up against teams on different tracks? I think
That's interesting.
I'm not 100% sure if does someone understand the interpretation?
I
get
think
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it, Mason.
So basically, we faced every team, but we didn't face every team on the same track. So some teams raced playground, some teams raced rings, some raced sky surf, and it was just depending on the RNG of it. You know, wherever you were placed, you only raced each team on one track.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit different in the how you strategize, I guess, and who's good at what track, what elements, what type of flying. And then it looks like Max has something to add.
Oh no, I was just gonna say what was I even gonna say? Was that adding to your point? I kind of lost it. Sorry.
Oh, gotcha.
Do you feel like the day results would have been altered if you'd had a chance? I mean, of course, it would have made for a lot more racing, but for argument's sake that it doesn't take that long, whatever, if you could have raced against every team on every single track, do you think that would have somehow changed results?
It's really hard to say.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think it's difficult
I'd
to
be
say.
interested to know.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's a little bit like when we had our round robin matchup against X Blades, it was on playground.
That's a hard one for that.
Yeah, and it was the track that we didn't fly the entire day, and X Blades had already raced that track. So us knowing that we're going in to fly against the hardest team to beat. On the track that we haven't flown at all during the day was a little bit scary. And I think that also showed up in the points that and our flying, because we messed up a lot in that race. But then it was switched the other way around for the finals, because we got to do rings, and that's the track we flew more times than X Blades. So yeah, I think it's hard to say.
Which tracks did you guys only fly once? We did playground only once. Did you guys?
Yeah, we also did playground only once.
Do you know? You may have gotten all of them twice. Or is that possible?
I'm pretty sure we got all of them twice.
I think it depends
on every
you
group.
take your break. Yeah,
because there's 6 you have 6 groups,
so you can't. I think that's possible. A few teams get that.
Okay. Oh, did you guys race like 3-on-1, 2 and 1?
Yeah, we did Sky 3.
Oh, okay, yeah.
In the end, was good. It was a good track for us to face X Blades on, because it's the kind where like one little mistake and you're probably gonna pass them, but there's not enough technical stuff to like catch up. You know what I mean? It's like, So
I think the tracks being different for each matchup definitely made some sort of a difference. If you look at the qualifying results and kind of extrapolate, like us facing Supersonic X on rings on playground was pretty advantageous. I feel like I was definitely much better at rings or at playground than any other track. And all of us seemed to be within about 0.1 of each other from qualifying. It was all around a 41.2 to 41.3.
You guys were,
And it's just the fact that we got that track for that one matchup was pretty good. I felt a little worried going against Raiden on rings, which I felt was my worst track. But we had other pilots that thought rings were was their best track. So it was just, if you have a rounded group of pilots, you're going to have a good advantage anywhere because everyone's going to be good at something.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
think
big
that's
part
the
of it.
point of like when you select your team, though, you'd kind of exactly want to go for people who will be better
Definitely.
at these kinds of obstacles and that kind of stuff, and so that exactly as you say, you're sure that no matter what track gets thrown your way, at least one of your pilots can do it. I guess.
Yeah.
And this set of tracks was a really good like variety. I really
Definitely.
thought so.
What
There
was
was,
your favorite track, and what was the one
You know-
which was the most challenging to you?
I immediately like thought it was going to be Playground for
Yeah.
me, and then in terms of like what I liked and was hoping to do well on. But then of course we only raced it once, and I also as the qualifying went on during the second qualifier, Lucas, creator gamer, my teammate, showed me his approach to the crane, and he was doing it with a trippy spin.
The
And
inverted.
And I was just like, I was struggling so hard to spot the rings that as soon I literally watched his replay and I like screamed. I was so excited. I was like, that's awesome. And I just started flying it that way. And it was like infinitely easier. It maybe wasn't as fast, but oh man. Yeah. And then rings kind of became my favorite. I think I'm excited to go grind that again whenever it's the trial.
It's out.
Yeah, but
guys,
it's out for us, right?
Yeah, you guys have
yeah,
access to it.
Yeah.
The general
I already
public,
played them all again.
Oh man, I had
Me too.
I got to focus on the Whoop Championship this week.
And would you say that you found it the most challenging as well, or would you?
In the end, Playground was the most challenging for me.
Okay.
The inconsistent on the approach into that ladder section. You're coming in so high speed, and I kind of made the mistake of watching some other people's lines kind of right before the racing, and I saw how close people were getting to the left on that approach, like right near that pole.
Yeah.
And then that pole, I started hitting that pole, and I started getting, and so I got mental about that. I got in my own head about going through that, pre-turning that first turn, and it caught me out during the racing a little bit. So
Yeah. Same.
you never
same
want
thing.
something in your head. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was such a committed turn. You know?
Oh yeah. It was like that part was pretty much a gamble because it's really difficult because you have to go through it backwards pretty much.
I love it, but like
I
just-
hyper loved it.
I actually really liked rings. Playground in qualifying. That was the track I started on, and I enjoyed it a lot. And then I went over to rings, and I really did not like it because I was struggling so bad on it.
I remember seeing
me
your
too.
Discord message.
Yeah, I just had a flashback to last year's Switzerland tracks that were so difficult. And here we, like in my mind, we were given 3 of those in the same day, while last year we had pretty much every event was just 2. There was 2 tracks, but there was oftentimes there were one little bit more technical and then one fast and flowy momentum-based track. And this event felt like it was basically 3 technical tracks, and that's not really my strength in DCL flying, at least.
Yeah. Skysurf was a little bit.
Yeah, it was a little bit more momentum-based.
I'm getting a knock at the door. I have to let someone in real quick. I'm sorry.
Nice. And my dog's barking.
Even your dog knows that there's someone at his
Yeah,
door.
it's like he heard it.
You know when we say dogs have this weird like sixth sense thing.
Oh yeah.
Well, hopefully he doesn't keep barking. Nice.
Dog doing dog things.
Yeah.
See, if you had your cat, David,
Yeah.
his cat
He
is
would
so
be-
cute.
Yeah, but he would be meowing the entire time because he just wants attention. And I
we will
I
give
feel
him
really
the
bad.
attention.
But
deserves
right now
it.
he's hiding because we had some friends over last night, and he's a pretty scaredy cat. So he doesn't like new people, so he's been hiding all day. So I can't.
Lockdown.
Yeah. He likes me. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I have a cat that's like a cat dog because she just loves people. Whenever there are people who come to visit, she's like, "Oh my god, new friends!" She just follows them around everywhere. Oh, hi, Zish. Zish has a very cute cat as well. I feel like I became friends with a lot more pilots as soon as they figured out that I like cats.
Cat people stick together.
We do.
You know?
Do you know how many times I've monopolized the DCL Instagram to slide cats in?
Have you seen the cat drone?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
That's a nightmare.
I mean, it's a little weird.
It's a little bit weird.
It's a little creepy.
Yeah, it's a literal cat.
Weird.
Some guy like taxidermied his cat and made it into a quad. This was a few years. I had forgot about that until just now. I was like, oh yeah, you could make a drone cat. And I was like, oh wait, somebody did that.
Yeah.
One of the things is I'm trying to train my cat to ride the Roomba. And once she's on that, I'm going to see if I can get her to then ride a drone. Like, we're going baby steps.
Right in the Roomba. Nice.
I forgot what we were talking about first.
Yeah. What was our last thing?
Tracks. Which was your favorite, David? Because you clearly didn't like most of them, but was there one that you actually liked?
Yes. Yeah. Right. So Playground was my favorite after the qualifying or training session, and Rings was my least favorite one. But on race day, it actually swapped around, and Rings became my favorite track to race on. And Playground was the least favorite, but I guess that has a bit of an explanation because we only flew it once and it was against X-Blades. So so maybe that I get some PTSD from flying Playground.
I have a question from our team. I'd be curious if your guys' teams did the same thing. When we heard the names, we went wild speculating, for a little bit. Did you guys have like a favorite based on the name?
I know Vicent was like, when we got to find out the names for the tracks, Vicent was straight away, he was like, I'm going to fly Rings.
Nice.
And you guys can do whatever you want, but I'm going to start with Rings. And it turned out to be his favorite track, and I guess I can't really say the track he did best on because he does great on every track.
It's thunder for you.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Truly.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to hate Skysurf right off the bat. As soon as they released the name, I need reference. So going over buildings, I don't have it. I've never done it in real life.
Yeah.
And all of my visualization works off of that. So I knew it wasn't going to be for me. Playground, that as soon as I opened the track, that was my track. I love it.
Your wheelhouse, right?
I love it. It's all just tight technical. You don't actually get up to speed as top speed.
Yeah.
And then like the ladder section where you have to basically turn around and just trust it. If you don't fly FPV, the only thing I can compare it to really is like if you've ever played darts, and the moment you release the dart while you're throwing it, it's just like that commitment level of trying to just land it perfectly.
Yeah, get that bullseye of the entry.
That whole section's so rewarding if you get it tight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
and it's also predicated on that entry.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to be able to keep, you have to modify everything in an instant when you get it wrong. But that's drone racing, I guess.
Yeah,
that's interesting that you like seeing the guide on the ground and staying kind of low.
Yeah. No, I like being, all my practice in real life is all 5-foot gates on the ground. Maybe they're a little bit, 5 feet, 10 feet off the ground. It's just not.
Do you fly with the track line on?
Yeah, I do. I do fly the track line.
Because that can help on some of the crazy building sections with having like a reference, but it's not realistic, I suppose.
It's just very odd for me to try to fly over a building. It's just not something I've ever really done.
Yeah. So do you not really...
Probably go practice that.
Do you ever do kind of freestyle, just like chill flying your drone around?
No.
No.
I've done freestyle competitions,
Okay.
but only when there's a competition.
Interesting.
So all practice
I would
will
like
be
that.
straight to kind of doing race-driven practice of
Yep.
like trying to go around.
Yeah.
And did you, man, as well? I can't
Yeah.
tell if you're nodding or not.
Yeah, I kind of. No, I mean, I do. I like to do it freestyling also, but yeah, I don't get to fly over skyscrapers or too often.
Yeah, I think
Scared of
that's kind of
fail-safing at the top, you know.
a thing that not a lot of people are allowed to do. So.
Yep.
No,
Yeah,
not
not
quite.
really.
Mhm.
You can do it, but you can only do it
Yeah.
once.
I kind of regret not doing some more like ultralight stuff at the height of lockdown in Chicago here.
Yeah.
I should have gone into downtown when there was literally nobody there, and I should have flown. I just I didn't, you know. So, but it would have been a cool opportunity to safely.
Yeah, as safe
yeah.
as you can, really.
Yeah, it would be safe, especially with a light enough drone. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
That's
but it's not the same, you know.
the only few buildings I've flown close to or dove or with a little tiny trainer, 150 gram, not even a drone, really.
Yeah.
At least legally, it's not. It's just a toy.
Yep. That's the good thing here. You can if it's light enough, you can kind of do it.
You can really do whatever you want if
Yeah.
it's light enough because it's not classified as anything.
Yeah.
I feel like
Besides invading people's privacy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
in Europe,
which is
do you
its
feel
own
like it's
thing.
stricter, David, than the US?
I mean, the new drone laws that got passed recently here in Europe are pretty damn strict, and I guess it's up to each country to interpret the rules however they like. And Sweden has been pretty harsh. So basically, for us, flying FPV outside of a model flying field is pretty much a no-go.
Can you do it in your own backyard?
But I guess no.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there a gram
Huh.
limit? Is there a weight limit?
Yeah. The thing is, there's like the issue is that if you have an FPV camera, it gets classified as one thing. And then it doesn't really matter if you're within certain weight limits, because there are weight limits, but it's like up to 250 grams.
Yeah.
So it's pretty similar to the US rulings, but with a few extra bits and pieces added to it that makes it really difficult, because like if you fly FPV, you have to have a spotter. And in Sweden, at least, it's like the recreational area thing of the rules is. I mean, in Sweden, there's no really definition for what a recreational area is. So in Sweden, it's like wherever it could be people, which means anywhere in Sweden except for a flying field. So even if you hike like 10 kilometers out into the woods where there's definitely no one there, there could technically still be someone
if
there.
there was an officer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would come for you.
So that's it's a little bit crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
So I just do the easy thing and just fly racing on model fields.
Can you fly indoors? Is that a part of the issue, or is the camera itself defines everything?
No, so indoors is not regulated. So
Okay.
that's so indoors you can fly. Yes.
Gotcha.
So you can make a
It's
little.
the thing I struggle with the most, being in the city.
How do you?
Sorry, just
so
having
if
space
you're-
to race in real life, you know.
So how do you actually do that then, Max? If you're in the city, are there like special drone parks that you can go to, or do you just have to like find
They're
a field
kind of-
out of the city somewhere?
Yeah. Fortunately, Chicago has some like forest preserve park district areas, and in a few of them they have designated drone areas. And it's funny because they're like even thinking of like flying like camera
DJI,
drones, like DJI, yeah. But I even had a cop come up to me last time I was out practicing my gates and ask me what I was setting up, because a lot of times, like I'm a filmmaker, and one of the rules is like if you kind of if you're filming, it's fine, you don't need a permit like on the sidewalk. But if you put a tripod down, you might need a permit kind of thing. Like, and so like as soon as I started building this structure out in the park with my gates, he's like, "What is that?" He's like, you need a permit to like." And I explained to him I was just like drone racing, and I want to practice out here. And eventually he was kind of like, he actually got a call about something else going on in the park, and he said, "Yeah, you're good, man." And so, but it's definitely interesting because it's hard, and I try to have somebody with me spotting when I do, because I've had people just walk right through the middle of my, I'm like ripping my drone through this thing. I'm like, are you kidding?
We've had it at major races. People just walk through like there's nothing going on.
It's like, what are you thinking?
Like, it's not the loudest thing in 5 square miles.
It's very obvious what's going on.
Yeah, we've had that on our flying fields too. Like,
there's a weird entitlement.
It's impressive, really.
Yeah. I mean, there's 6 quads in the air flying, screaming with flying knives, and a family with small children just decides to walk straight across it. Yeah. Like, are you deaf? Like, then you have to yell at them, and they're like, "What's going on?"
Everybody has to take up in the air.
Can't you hear it?
That's insane.
Just in their own worlds.
It's scary. I've definitely, like one of the other times I was practicing recently, my wife was with me kind of spotting, and there were these people, we had this little awning to sit under, and they were having a little picnic, and they had some little kids, and I was just doing freedom spec, ripping this little track, and this little kid just goes walking out. He's like made it almost to my start finish gate, and my wife's like, oh, she tells me to cut it as I'm coming back, and I just like go up in the air and look. I couldn't believe. I mean, it was pretty crazy. And then they were like, "Oh yeah, got him back." But
luckily, I don't seem to have those issues for the most part. People kind of know what's going on, even if it's just me. But it's crazy because I'm sure you've had people complain from far away that like, "Why is it so loud?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you just get people that don't even hear it, just walk right, like it's just mosquitoes or something.
Yeah, but I really want to see some cool micro spec stuff happen, like in the city here, where we can do it in like crazy places or just in the parks, So
I've seen a lot of Whoop stuff go on in breweries and such.
Yeah, that's real. Yeah, definitely. This next like winter season, I want to get into the Whoops.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I had to go do some of the Tiny Trainer stuff. You were the champion, right, Hyper?
Yep. That is, I love Tiny Trainers. They're super cool little. Actually, I have one right here.
Nice.
Just little 3-inch quads.
Oh, that's tiny. That is tiny.
Yeah, but compared to like, this is destroyed, but it's a 5-inch. Oh, never mind.
Do you have your golden
braces? Oh gosh, I do.
He won golden goggles with that Tiny Trainer. Pretty rad. I watched the ending of that race.
I've all my stuff sitting right here.
He's number 1 on the leaderboard right now in
the
global qualifier, right? He's still number 1?
I am right now, and I have another one this weekend.
Wow.
Nice. I haven't gone to one yet.
I've been I have 955 laps on the track.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah.
I mean, that can transition quite well to the next question, which is how long do you practice? Apparently a lot.
Yeah.
Do you have a track set up like that? Do you have a track
I don't have a yard track or anything. I go to parks normally, and then luckily we have a facility over on the other side of the state called the No Quarter Ranch, which is it's Michelle and Matt Brooks, and they are from New York, Long Island, and retired down here actually. And they bought a bunch of land and set up just huge tracks. So if I want to go and practice the global qualifier, I drive. It's like 3 hours and change across the state, and I stay for the weekend.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, but it's definitely a fun trip. Yeah, their facility, it's top notch. They're going to probably do some events there this year that are bigger. It's really fun.
That's really cool.
But did you race in the recent European race that everybody did, Longcat, David? What was it called? Like
yeah, what was it?
There was a couple of air crasher ones, but I think those are Germany.
Right? Are they Germany?
Yeah, those are German.
Made it over. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't been to any of those races.
Anything IRL? Maybe?
Some practice.
Yeah, we've done a little bit of practice runs. We actually got to do a small local race for the first time now a few weekends ago. during COVID, Sweden hasn't really had a big lockdowns or something like that, but we've had pretty rough restrictions on gatherings of people. So, I mean, we, as in the drone racing community, we're pretty small in Sweden, so we could have technically had races, but the issue is that we have to be sanctioned by the governing body of flying.
RC flying fields themselves.
Yeah, no, just
A model aircraft thing or something?
yeah, I think the model aircraft thing, but also by the general aviation
like the FAA equivalent,
like the SAA.
Yeah, so
Swedish.
The Swedish, it's Flygsportsförbundet, so it's air sports, whatever.
Can you say that a little bit slower for all of us who don't speak
That just blew my mind.
Flygsportsförbundet.
I get the flugs.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah, so it's air sports. I don't know what a förbund is in English. Wait, hang on.
Förbund is like a organization, isn't it?
Covenant in English. I don't know if that's the correct translation.
A what?
Federation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, coalition. Yeah.
Yeah, federation.
So, yeah, so that's basically who decides if we get to have races, and they just said no air sports are allowed to have any events, and that included us.
Canceled them all.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah. So that included
because
us
they figured
too.
they were like bigger. Yeah, that stinks.
Yeah.
Because FPV is one of those things you can do pretty safely if you spread out. You don't have to like share gear or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem isn't necessarily just the pilots; it's also then the audience that goes with it.
Oh yeah, for like bigger events and stuff. Yeah.
Because if you have people watching, they're obviously gonna like stand around together, and it's annoying that events are cancelled. But considering we organize events as like a business, we of course hate that we can't do real live races. It's really annoying to everyone involved, but it is for the safety of everyone that we're making this decision, for the pilots, for the audience, and it was not a decision that we necessarily took lightly, but at the end of the day, if everyone's going to get sick, we can't have an event, so why take that risk?
And it's too multinational and global, but so many people coming from all over with different restrictions.
And the travel restrictions and all that.
That's got to be complicated with just visas on a normal year.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let alone COVID. So,
for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool. I can't wait to be at a race. Hopefully, even if I'm not racing in Mexico, hopefully I can buy a plane ticket and go help my team or something. Go down there.
Yeah, that's going to be an experience in and of itself.
It's such a cool location as well. Like, I'm very excited.
I can slaughter some drones.
One of the reasons why I kind of joined DCL at the beginning is, there are very many reasons, but I was thinking, wow, these are such cool locations, and I really like that, Drone Racing League that's obviously about the racing, but also tries to find really nice backdrops to do it on. And then, we end up not going to all these locations.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not yet.
But last year we had some really cool ones. Like Moscow was in there, Great Wall of China was in there, and I was like, these are places I've always wanted to go anyway. So it's cool. The company pays for me to go to a destination I wanted to go to anyway.
And you get to take over a section of it and make your race.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
It's really impressive, actually. Like how much we can take over of a city, because it's not big cities. Like I think for me the one that was the most impressive was the Champs-Élysées. That's a. I mean, I don't know if Champs-Élysées. I don't know how you say it in English properly.
France.
Yeah,
pretty sure I wouldn't know what it is. Okay.
The walk of Paris that's got like all the big stores. It's the thing where it's like it's a massive tourist attraction, And
you guys just set up a drone race.
yeah, we just like rented it out, used the tunnel
No
under
shots
the
for
Arc
you.
de Triomphe as well. The Arc de Triomphe is like this massive monument as well that you don't just like lightly close down. It's not an easy thing to do. And somehow it was our second season and we managed to do that, which I thought was
Jeez.
really, really
That's
awesome.
really cool.
Really cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of the biggest draws for us drone racers, I think, to see it. You know, like Hyper was saying, he's usually on 10 feet off the ground on gates, whipping around. You know, the view doesn't change that much from field to field.
Yeah, it's all
But,
green
like-
grass.
Yeah, some you can turtle mode easier in, but
Never.
yeah, and then you know, getting to like like dive over the Great Wall or something. It's just like what, you know,
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
pretty cool. It's like it's the dream.
Well, you guys will get a lot of that virtually though.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love the sim. So
Like Reuter is the one coming up next on the 25th of July. Watch it live on Twitch from, when is it?
Ooh,
11
that will
a.m.
be fun.
UTC. But that's going to be really early for you, like Hyper.
11 a.m.
That won't be too bad.
I mean,
I don't
11
sleep,
UTC
so-
is what
Oh,
for you
that's-
guys, like 6 in the
Six-
morning or something?
Yeah. Fortunately, I've
nothing.
turned into waking up around that time in my recent life. So I like
Fair enough.
that's when I train with China Dragons. Usually, we've got it's like almost midnight for Dan in Australia, and like it's crazy. And I'm starting at 6 in the morning. It's
I don't know about you, Max. I'm gonna reverse my schedule. Not sure what your
Hey.
freedom is to do that.
I usually wake up that early. This would be my wheelhouse, so we'll see. But I have like a shoot that week, so I don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
I'll be racing this one. But I don't
Oh,
want to
gotcha.
spoil anything. You never know, though, right?
That's true. Team
Yeah.
trials. Who's been practicing?
exactly.
Who's feeling it that day?
Yep.
I'm assuming you guys do a team trials. I feel like we all do.
Yep.
Yeah.
We
so-
race a lot together.
Yeah, how does that work? So you guys just all race against each other on tracks and then is it picked,
Yeah.
like do you get picked based on who's the fastest or how do picks actually work?
I'm sure it works differently on different teams. I know for us, we raced a few tracks in Proptown just because it's the environment and that was going to be similar.
Yeah.
Just to see who can perform there. And then we had, I can't remember how many heats we had. It was between 8 and 15. And then over time, we saw the time data, your position data, and your consistency. And we just factored everything into a point system and boil it down to the top 4 pilots from that group.
Nice.
I
And I think we'll
you
do the
guys
same.
work a lot with facts and stats and seems to be kind of your thing. I feel like you guys have a myriad of Excel sheets that you're using on a regular basis.
Yeah, there's a couple. There's a team trial sheet. I will say that.
Fair enough. I'm big on Excel
we-
sheets, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, data is huge.
Uh-huh.
Definitely.
I'm trying to rebuild ours into a super sheet now, but I was too busy to get it going. But I think over this next series of practice, I'm going to try and take that role a little bit, help Ronnie, the team manager, out.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Maybe you could send me your sheet, you know?
Those are team secrets he'd be giving away.
Couple
Exactly.
minor edits.
Yeah,
Mhm.
team secrets.
Couple formula edits.
Yep. Yeah.
Put in all the wrong data to confuse them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
about you, David? How does it work at Raiden?
It's pretty much the same. Yeah, we do team trials and check who's available and who's more consistent, who's fastest, and give points based on that. And yeah, that's pretty much how we do it.
Nice.
Cool. So you guys looking forward to Reuter then?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Have
gonna
you-
be cool.
Have you raced most of the tracks there yet, Hyper?
No, I haven't raced anything there yet.
Have fun.
I like the environment. The
They're
environment's really
difficult. They're really
Couple tough
difficult
spots.
tracks there.
As long
Yeah.
as we're not going through that. There's a tunnel there that I've seen
Yeah.
in a couple of the tracks that looks pretty intense.
Watch
Yeah.
Filippo put every track through the tunnel.
Yep. And he'll put those fat
He would.
markers on the ground to hit.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, those,
So
those-
you'll have like this bit to fly through.
Let's do it. I'm not afraid.
Jeez.
I'll encourage him to do stuff like that because I'm probably not racing.
Get him to be super mean.
Some people just want to watch the world burn.
But you know what though? I feel like you guys I don't know if this external impression that Filippo is just like sadistic and wants to hurt you guys, but he really doesn't. He's actually a really lovely person. He scares me a bit, but he is really a lovely person. And
he designs all the tracks?
Yeah, I mean with his team, but he is kind of the head of game and design, I guess. Yeah. And
I really like these last few.
I think when he designs them, the idea is what's going to make for a great spectator sport as well, because it's good that it challenges you, because it gives us something amazing to watch, and it pushes you guys as well to actually become better pilots than you thought you could be. So really, you should be thanking him, honestly.
Yeah,
he's doing
it'd be really interesting to see him on this program someday to ask questions, get all the pilots to ask him questions about his process. Cause it's interesting to me. Silent Antagonist, the Women's Cup champion or winner this week.
She's in that chat actually.
Yeah, I saw her earlier, but I knew her first by flying her tracks. Right, she was a track designer.
I think a lot of us did, yeah.
Yeah, and that name was so fitting as a track designer because that's what they are. They're the silent antagonist to the pilot. It's kind of interesting.
Definitely.
Yeah. I don't think that was his or her intention, but yeah.
I think I had a thing and I forgot what I was going to say, so someone else say something.
Oh, let me just say, Filippo, thank you for making Playground.
Filippo, I will never stop complaining about tracks, because that's what I do.
The three of us, did we all jump onto Playground first?
No, I actually started with Skysurf.
Okay, cool.
And then did Playground and then Rings.
Sweet. I jumped on Playground and yeah,
I knew I was going to hate Skysurf, so I wanted to get it out of the way.
Yep.
Did it end up confirming your belief?
No, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I definitely thought there would be a lot more like around the building tops themselves and not so much the up and down that it was. I kind of enjoyed that really much more than I thought I would. That's for sure. It was probably it's hard for me to choose between that and Rings. They're both pretty good. I didn't have any tracks I really didn't like after flying them the whole event. It was just coming into it with the name of Skysurf and thinking it was all going to be on the buildings is it's
in
not
the
fun.
future, would you just like the names to be redacted so that you don't have like an initial already worry about it?
No, I think they should release them sooner. Let's get the names next week.
Yeah.
No. We're not telling you anything.
All right.
Name one like Ladder Hell and then just make it like a flowy track.
I feel like I want to do that now.
Yeah, right? Just totally deceiving.
Yeah.
Ladder Hell, not one ladder on the track.
Exactly.
That would actually be amazing. But no, Filippo is consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love them, those tracks. And then the names were fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
We were speculating where Playground would be when we heard the name. We're like, where on the track? It's like we thought it's probably going to be in the middle near this art piece, but it could be over in like the bando because a lot of people call bandos playgrounds, and that bando is tight and not a good place for a track.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
the one we flew
over
around
it
for Rings.
Nobody puts tracks in it because it's too tight almost.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a couple, but yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think last week's team trials was there, or not team trials, the solo trials.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the tracks.
Yeah, I think so.
It was like through the parking garage and down. A lot of spirals.
Yeah.
Cool track.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that was a lot of fun. Gnarly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the construction site, the other side that we flew over on Rings.
Oh.
All those, like we were thinking that it might be inside of there, which is gnarly.
That would be intense. Yeah.
All right,
cool.
I am very sorry. I really have to go.
Yes. We're over, right?
It's been a lot of fun.
It's been an absolute pleasure. I'll keep you guys for one last question anyway, and then you can all go and have your lives.
Okay.
But David, if you really need to go ahead.
Yeah. I will be leaving. So thank you guys. It was a lot of fun having this chat, and I hope to be racing you guys even more this season.
It's great talking with you, David.
Forward to
great
that.
racing with you.
Uh-huh. We should have done an exhibition right now. That would have been fun.
I hope that in the future we can do what the quads where people are actually on the game in like the kind of racing each other.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun. That would have been fun.
Yeah, that'd be real cool in the future. Cool.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome, David.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Peace, David.
Just a warning to everyone that
Congrats.
the layout is about to change now on Twitch.
No, I can stay connected. Just mute
great.
myself. Yeah, so don't
awesome.
worry about that.
Cool.
Right. Bye.
Well, it's a last question anyway,
right.
from It's Dude Alex, who's just wondering what would be the best and cost-effective gear to start racing with. So you guys who are now obviously have been in it for a while.
I
and
love
stuff.
this question.
Yeah, give your advice as pro racers.
I mean, undeniably cost-effective is a transmitter and a simulator. But
yeah, that's really the cost-effective part is really dependent on what your budget is.
Yeah.
Some things, we might say are pretty budgeted, and other people say, no, they're not, for one reason or another. I definitely think starting on a sim's the best. If you're just trying to learn, if you're trying to get better in real life, don't buy the worst or the cheapest gear, because it's going to break, it's going to burn up, it's going to fail on you. If you want to get solid performance and you want it to fly the same for more than a week and a half, definitely invest in something that's known and has some quality to it. Doesn't have to be the best thing ever, but just something that is fairly trusted by the community at whole or at large. And if you look, there's a lot of Facebook groups, a lot of RC groups, rotor builds, just a lot of areas to find what's going to work best, and then what works best for you, because a lot of people run different things.
Absolutely.
Sure.
That's great advice. And Silent in chat just threw out using a Tiny Hawk race too, which I agree with the Tiny Hawks in the sense that they all use the same batteries, and you don't have to have like big battery chargers. And in my opinion, jumping into battery stuff is kind of one of the scarier parts of it in a way. I don't
Interesting.
know. You know what I mean? Like it's like
I don't know what you mean.
I guess like
I didn't come from that. That's
the
batteries
you came from a world where your dad already probably had RC chargers.
Like we run 12S 5000 mod. So
I have no idea what that means.
It's like 10 times bigger than a quad battery.
I mean, I have some huge RC batteries myself because I have some big drones. I have some 6S. I have a 24,000 milliamp.
Ooh, yeah, that's a big battery.
18,000. Yeah, they're big. I should use them for field packs now. But just the fact that you can use like Whoop batteries like this, and some of the drones take one, some of them take two, and you can just charge them off of like USB chargers.
Yeah.
And so you get like, you find it. The good thing is there's actually reasonably cheap transmitters that work with sims that aren't junk now. So like it used to be that you had to spend a certain amount to kind of crest the worth it level.
Well, and now there's a lot of kits out there too where it comes with a plug and play or a bind and fly, where it's literally you get the transmitter, you get a starter set of goggles, you get the Whoop or the 3-inch or 5-inch or whatever size you choose, but you get all these things in one, so it's a little easier to choose. It won't be, you're not going to get the perfect racing setup off plug and play. You're not, because it's always changing. The hobby / sport moves so fast that you have to be on top of things just to stay relevant, really.
Yep. It's really interesting though, because it's like I can't stress how important simming is. Like you could, like people ask like, does it translate? And I'm like, absolutely. You could spend so much time in the sim, and the first time you fly, you're gonna know that it's gonna be a little different for a second, and you're gonna be a little freaked out maybe being in goggles, but it just like absolutely translates. So
definitely. And if you do like the quick math real quick, we'll say a battery lasts 2 minutes. You play an hour in the sim, that's 30 packs. But it's not, because you don't crash, you don't switch batteries, you don't wait for things to cool down,
you don't walk,
you don't break anything, you don't walk when you crash, and there's a reset switch, so you just instantly reset. So it's more like, I would say probably 50 batteries an hour on the sim would be around the equivalence. So it's just, you're not going to, that's about what most serious racers will practice in a day.
Yep, and you
unless
can
practice. You're Min-Chan, MCK, which he practices. If you knew.
Yeah, but MCK is a robot, so we're going to exclude him from the equation here.
I think one of the big things with flying in real life, and if you manage to get the level of real life practice that you Like if you can burn as many packs as the equivalent of like sim would be,
Yeah.
I think that there's an effect where it makes you a more consistent pilot because you don't want to go and walk out to get your drone. You know what I mean? Like I became very just smash this thing endlessly in the sim and just reset, you know? And I had to unlearn a little bit of that. But when I was racing in real life, when I'm flying in real life, I'm in a mode where I can't crash. And I like to say that I only crash when I allow myself to crash. And that's when it's kind of true though. Like a true accidents only happen when like that's like a mistake, right? But crashes, like if I'm freestyling, like I'm allowed to crash if I'm doing something that I'm trying, you know. And if I'm racing and I'm pushing past my limits, I'm allowed to crash, you know. So there's times where I know I can crash, and there's times where I shouldn't crash, like when I'm filming stuff or when I'm trying to finish the race. And I think that being able to turn that on and off for myself has actually turned me into a more consistent racer.
That's great.
Yeah, because it's kind of like oh, I can't crash right now. And so I somehow dial that back and don't crash. Though I still crash sometimes. But that's racing.
That's yeah. If you're cutting it close and you're trying for perfection, you know, smaller and smaller mistakes cost more.
Yep.
So as you get closer, you know, an inch, a centimeter can make a huge difference.
Yeah. It's wild. And also with like sim, you have an easier time analyzing what you did sometimes. You know, you can try something different more rapidly, like taking a gate tight versus kind of flowing through it.
And the ghosts.
Ghosts
are huge. That's one of the biggest points for the Sims is you can go back and watch the entire run at whatever speed you want. And it's great.
Yeah.
I fly with Minchan on everything just to catch up, or even Silas or Thunder, whoever's at the top. You just fly with their ghosts so you know what you have to beat. And I feel like that makes me push harder, personally.
Do you feel like you then try follow their lines? Or like when you use their ghosts, is it like because you want to look at how they were taking it? Or is it just because you want something to race against?
Both.
It's a little bit of both. One is because I want someone in front of me, so I will be pushing. And another is it's such a constant metric versus using your own ghost. Because your ghost improves as you do different things. But if I can run a run and improve, and then I can run my old ghost, my new ghost, and the fast one, you can see what lines are better and then choose to either, you know, steal them from them or make your own new lines, either based on what you think is faster or what's in, you know, the realms of possibility for you versus the robots.
Nothing gets me more pumped up than like chasing Thunder or Minchan or Minjay, and then having a section where I just absolutely gain on it.
Close the distance.
And I just close it, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing that spot faster than they are. Or maybe they just didn't do that spot as perfect. You know, they didn't optimize that spot yet. But it feels so, that's the part that absolutely hooks me and gets me into dangerous territory where I end up simming for hours longer than I wanted to. because I'm like, oh, I did it once. I was in front of them.
Yeah.
You know?
How long do you reckon you sim kind of roughly per week, counting all sims? I know we're here to promote DCL the game. It's the best, obviously.
That's a good question.
But just in like simming as a kind of general thing.
I think it depends. In the past, I've simmed a lot more. More recently, I've transitioned to more real life flying. And then now, again, I'm going... Like, I don't fly any other sims anymore because I'm flying DCL. And I don't want to be used to any other sims.
Because we're the best.
Interesting.
Well, yeah.
I like to switch it up a lot, but that's like...
But it definitely depends. I have... If I look back, I have over 2 years, it was about 700 hours in liftoff. Another year was probably 500 in Velocidrone. And then leading up to tryouts for both DCL and then DRL was like a week and a half before. In those 3 weeks, I put in like over 150 hours.
Wow.
So that was one of my busier weeks.
Yeah.
I had just gotten picked up with Dragons too a little bit before that, so I was, you know, we were trying to balance everything. Yeah, I've got similar time in the Sims. I've got about 1,500 across. Wait, no, like 500 in DCL, 500 in DRL, 500 in Liftoff, and about 500 in Velocidrone. So I guess that's nearly 2,000 hours of simming.
Wow.
Yeah. But
that's a lot.
What would you say are kind of the main pluses and minuses of DCL the game versus other simulators?
Oh, that's interesting.
I love the graphics of it. The light. I don't know what you're doing with the light processing, but the way that it reflects off the buildings and like It's not RTX, obviously, but it's like it looks very good.
I'm one of the
huge fan of the look of the game.
Are you flying on high?
No, I don't actually. I'll fly on high when I want to watch my ghost back. But when I'm actually flying, I fly everything on low.
Okay. I'm like a weirdo. I've been flying on high. I probably should switch, but
I'm not sure how much it matters.
Yeah.
But I just
what's the difference?
I know people seem to say
the
input lag,
the texture level and the input lag. Maybe
I don't know. I don't know about the input lag.
But I'm a crazy person. I turn off everything on the computer and
I run most games at bare minimum for frames.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Whatever I can do to get more frames. But in DCL, for some reason, it tends to run just as smooth for me on high.
Yeah.
And I can see things a little better because it's like it does like a weird down-resing in the low. It's kind of, but yeah.
I feel like it's the engine. It looks really good.
It's unreal. And being able to fly around the moving objects and stuff like the cars and the train and stuff. It's really like my first time getting into DCL. And I got onto like Oil Bando and I started going through that train and I was just, like, I don't know. I spent hours and then I spent hours trying the trains cross each other and their doors line up. I still never seen anybody do it. I've come so close. I've gotten through 3 of the 4 doors as they cross going forth. Someday somebody's got to do it and clip it and send it to me because it's the dream.
I am launching this challenge now to everyone on the Twitch chat. If you can get yourself to fly through those doors, like when the trains cross, and you send us a video, I look into getting you guys a prize of some sort.
Nice.
Challenge.
It's hard.
I bet. I haven't even tried it yet.
Yeah, and it only happens like one of the trains doesn't even have the door, so you have to like wait for the right train to come around with the door.
Wow.
But it does, in theory, happen in the same spot every time, though. So that's cool. Like when you reset. So I had a whole thing figured out where I do this route around the smokestack and try and time it, and then it just got I got so close like the first time, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get this, and then like that was a total miss.
Never got closer. Than
no,
that.
It was way you know about it. It's like hitting that awesome gap.
Yeah, and then you're like, let me do that again.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Just watch the first time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get working on it. I love it. It's Dude Alex. Do it. It's definitely doable. It's and it's one of those things you have to be going fast. That's like it's not gonna because the one train's going really fast.
If you go like super slowly, the train's gonna take like you can't.
Yeah, and it's weird because the one train's going slow, so you can't. You're timing like 3 things at once.
You just have to know where it is.
Mm-hmm. It's really gonna be a bit of a luck thing.
Well, good luck to everyone on the Twitch chat who wants to try this.
I feel like I'm gonna go do it right now. Yeah.
Cool. Twitch chat, do you guys have any more questions? If not, I'm gonna let you guys have a life. Or, go practice trying to do that train thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is my life.
Yeah, exactly. Hyper, teach me your ways. I'm coming to the No Quarter Ranch for weekend.
Snap.
Yeah,
that'd be a good time.
Maybe sometime.
Do you guys live far away from each other? So you're in Chicago, right, Max?
Yep.
And where are you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I live in Florida.
Florida.
Yeah, so you guys are like opposite.
Well, it would be about a 3-hour to him.
Oh, where's the No Quarter Ranch? I thought you said.
The No Quarter Ranch is in the West Coast, kind of near Ocala.
Oh, okay, cool.
And
then I'm over on the East Coast. So for me to get there, it's a 3-hour and change drive. Yeah. But to get to you, I have to drive to the airport and then fly 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
If I want to go drive to you, it's like
15 plus, right?
15 or no, it's 13 to Muncie, and it's another 6 to Chicago. So 19 hours.
That's the one thing I do have going for me, and maybe I'll see you at I/O this year because I'm definitely going to try and go. So it's I'm close to Muncie, so it's like 3 to 4 hours. So that's great.
Yeah, I made a crazy plan. I'm going to drive to the Freedom Spec race, and then hang out around there, and then drive to I/O. So it's going to take like a month.
There's a Freedom Spec race closer to I/O or
it's in St. Louis.
In Moberly, right?
Yeah, Moberly.
Yeah, that's like next week, right?
Yep, that's next week.
Nice. I really wanted to go, but I don't think I can.
It's going to be wild.
Yeah, I love flying. I just started flying Freedom Spec, and it's a blast.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
People keep telling me that's what DCL quads fly like in real life, like David was saying, and I really hope that's true.
If that's true, I'm going to be good at it.
Yeah, right.
I'm good at that Freedom Spec right now.
It's fairly close in the sim, but just the tuning differences and just like the RPM and voltage for 3S just makes it fly different. And I think DCL quads are 5S.
Yeah, and aren't they like 7-inch props?
No, they're 5-inch props. 5-inch props.
5-inch props.
Which is large stance, so the yaw is a little weird.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to be the biggest change is that yaw factor.
Yeah, I wonder if camera placement's gonna funk with us too. You know.
Yes. Don't let anyone tell you different.
Yeah, you think?
It definitely does.
It makes sense. Yeah, I've never flown with a camera like on top of my canopy besides like a Whoop. So. Yeah,
back when in like the earlier days of 5-inch flying around here, a lot of the designs were you put your motors, your stack, your VTX, your camera. So it's just like it was all in a big TPU pod. So it looked cool and it was aero enough, but it definitely wasn't durable and it felt weird. It's like being a giraffe.
Yeah, that's weird. You're like
Are
tall
the
on top.
cameras on the bottom?
They're normally kind of down in the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like between the motors on. Oh yeah, he's got it.
Yeah. Like down in the see the little camera down in the front here.
Yeah.
This is one of my Freedom Spec setups. Yeah.
But for 5-inch, you sacrifice aero for the most part, so you can just place the camera wherever because it doesn't matter really at the size and the torque and the power.
Okay.
But on the DCL drones, the camera's placed kind of up in the body, almost where the antenna is.
Yeah.
Which it seems like top racers start talking about millimeters and centimeters, and so when you're talking about where you're perceiving your whole race from, it matters. But I've never really tried it, so.
I don't think I've tried one in that specific alignment where it's like kind of a little farther back off center.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be really interesting. It's definitely going to be weird. It's cool to learn, though. I love learning new stuff, new parts of flying in the hobby because you can just use it everywhere.
That's exciting.
That's why I tell people to sim, all the different sims. And when people are like, "Oh, that sim feels fake," I'm like, your drone is a computer. I don't know if you knew that. You know what I mean? So someday you're going to fly a different computer in the sky and it's going to fly different. Yeah. That's how it works. You change a couple numbers and your drone flies different.
Totally. Yep.
You know what I mean? And so in the end, that's why I love just flying variety. It's like and I can transition so much faster now and I'm such a stronger pilot for it. So I can't stress it enough. It sucks at first. Every time you switch, you're like, I don't know how to fly anymore.
Yeah,
I was fast and now I'm slow.
Well, I definitely did that over. It wasn't as fun, but my way of doing that was a little different. I would go to a race at 15, 16 with one quad, and then I would break that quad, and someone else would let me fly theirs.
Nice.
So I just got used to flying someone else's quad every race, and
I bet you'd win.
It kind of built over time,
nice.
And I'm pretty thankful for it looking back now.
It's interesting.
But it was definitely I was kind of a joke then if you think about it. You go to an event, you break your one thing, and then you're flying someone else's. That's not very professional. Now it's a little different. I've started working more recently, and I have actual adult money to play with, so I can.
That feels great, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. The travel.
Do you have
being able to go places?
The case now that you have. The opposite problem that it's other kids who come with their one quad, then they break it and they ask if they can use yours.
You got to be the nice guy now.
They actually don't for the most part, but I've done it a few times. Like locally when the guys ask and it's like, it's the kid with one quad. Yeah. At national level events, I haven't been asked yet. So I can't really, I'd like to say that I would do that, but I haven't been in that scenario. If I have extra quads, I would, 100%. If you can bind to it and I'm not going to need it, go for it.
All right. Well, I'm going to come. I got to find out what RX you use because I'm going to come mooch off you.
Ghost.
Ghost.
The best.
Oh, you're on Ghost? Nice.
Version RC Ghost. Yes, sir.
Do you use the combo thing?
I do. I use the hybrid board for the most part. I've been looking forward to trying the duo receivers for diversity. Nice. Full receiver diversity.
Wow, I am. I kind of want to do that for simplicity. I have Tracer right now. I just I love the idea of just one. Yeah.
What does everything you are saying mean?
We're talking about the way we control our drones, and there's been some advancements in kind of how fast our link is to the drone.
Yeah, in the past 6 months, we've essentially doubled the link speed from what was more popular. So you had your FR Sky, like the Tyrannus, Futaba, and then Spectrum were the big three, and those were the big three protocols. And then, of course, Crossfire, which is an add-on module from Team Black Sheep.
Okay.
It's like a long-range mountain. If you saw old mountain videos where guys were flying over the Alps and such, that's what they were using.
It can go
It's
like
made
30
for
kilometers.
It's made for going the distance.
Yeah.
But it's not super low latency. So the time between us moving the stick and the drone actually doing something is a little longer than how it is now, where we've gotten.
Okay.
If
We're
we
close
put
to
it
the
quantitatively, it would be it's 7 milliseconds, I believe, on Crossfire. I might be wrong. It might be 6.
Yeah, Crossfire is 150 hertz, which is
150
about
hertz.
7
Yeah, about
milliseconds.
7.
Yeah.
And now we're down to there's 250 hertz reliably on Ghost and Tracer now, as well as Express LRS, which is a different. It's not even a company; it's just a group of people, I believe.
Which is really exciting. It's like open. Yeah.
It's just a bunch of devs that are working on products, and that's had really promising results too. But we've gone from 7 milliseconds to 3.5, and now we're down to like 2 on some of the prototype builds for Ghost on the 500 hertz.
It's getting to the point where it's such diminishing returns, even maybe,
It's really impressive. It's about sim latency. It feels very similar, and that's the next level for real life flying.
It's one of those things that in the sim, like I started using a Spectrum transmitter that didn't have I didn't have a dongle, and so I used a trainer cord into the microphone. So what this is for Jess, this was using a headphone cable and an aux cable into my microphone port on my computer. My computer was like listening for these little, if you listen to it, it was like this beeping, this crazy signal.
Analog signals coming in.
And it would actually translate that into the movements. It's a way you could learn how to fly with like somebody else's transmitter. You could plug in and like learn how to fly with them.
Buddy boxing.
Yeah, exactly. But I would do that, and it had a lot of lag, and I didn't realize how much that was making me worse at flying until I got a dongle. And then once I got off the dongle and went to USB, I got even better. And so I started to really believe in the input lag mattering.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah. And so now being on Tracer, I definitely feel, I don't know if I've just gotten better over this last season, which I definitely have, but it just feels, I feel locked in.
You just feel better.
It's weird.
It feels like it's not fidgeting as much would be my.
Yeah. It's like yeah, it's interesting. We used to fly it like it was on like a old, like almost the speed of like an old TV, like it's pretty slow, really. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah.
Silent, I think, put it quite well. Flying via dial-up.
Yeah.
That's like exactly what it was. And then the computer had to like, listen to it and convert it. So it was, slow, super slow. Yeah. But that still exists. Smart Propo Plus.
That's what I was going to say. Was it Smart Propo or I think there's VJoy controller is another one that can work
you
for
had
that
used
method.
Both. Yeah,
you had to use both.
I think so, because VJoy would make that. VJoy makes a virtual controller, and Smart Propo just like
interpret the actual signal.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
last
definitely
two
cool.
questions.
It's like multi-Wii.
Because I love chatting with you guys, but I'm actually really hungry. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's late.
So there's just two questions from the chat. The first one is for gMan. What's the meaning behind "Fly You Fools"?
I was streaming pretty consistently on Twitch this last summer, and I definitely, that helped me grind all the time. And one day I was setting up my timer, and the timer ends and it has a message, and I was like, the timer before I start, like stream starting soon. And I just thought about Gandalf, and I like saying "Fly You Fools," and I wrote it in there. And then it's a couple people in like chat started kind of saying it sometimes, and all of a sudden I kind of was like, this is kind of fun. It's kind of a thing. And then my wife, yeah, exactly. My wife designed some cool logos and stuff, and I have a little started a little mini brand. We haven't fully launched it yet, but got some cool shirts and stuff.
All right,
Fly You Fools. So what you should be doing instead of watching us right now, probably flying. Right.
And Mason, there's one for you. How do you deal with glasses and the headsets? So do you use contacts when you race, or are you
That's a good
able to
question.
put the headset over the glasses? I've actually always wondered this.
That's
Yeah,
really,
so it's a question of what your vision is. I have astigmatisms in both eyes. I'm not nearsighted or farsighted. My eye is just the shape of, I believe it's either the retina or the cornea. Instead of being a perfect circle, it's an oval. So it just makes it harder to focus. You can get diopters if within your prescription if you want to. I don't have an issue because it's a 720p image and it's about this far from your face. So I don't have an issue. I just take my glasses off. I can reasonably see without my glasses. It just takes more focus, and I get headaches over time.
Okay.
Just because my eyes don't work together.
Yeah, they're
makes
not. They don't have the correction that they're supposed to be having.
Yeah. And so I know some people get bigger box goggles that'll fit over glasses if your vision's really bad. But there are a few companies that do make actual prescription diopter lenses for our goggles.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can get inserts.
Yep, and they will directly. There's no jank. You just push it in and it locks in, and you can see.
That's cool.
It'd actually be interesting to try those. I may be missing out on a whole range of resolution in my goggles.
Interesting.
That's entirely possible. I know, like, I feel like I can see without my glasses, and then someone asks me to, like, read, like a menu of, like, the takeaway or something, and I'm like, that's not words. That's just a black blur.
Exactly. I've definitely noticed it getting worse as time goes on. So I'm scared of where it's going, but anything within, my room, I can see pretty well without glasses.
Yeah.
Outdoors, it starts to become a problem recognizing people from distance. You just get you know what I'm talking about, just a blurry, blob of a face.
It's when I go out and, like, if I come home with an Uber or something, when I go out, I don't want to wear my glasses because I look cooler without glasses. That's what I convince myself.
No, I definitely need mine.
And then the Uber comes and you have to go, like, up to the number plate, like, straight at it to be sure that it's your Uber.
I just got these this year. I
Those look nice.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. I guess they're more for looking at the computer and stuff. I just need them ever so slightly. I didn't really realize it, but I was straining, I guess. But in FPV, I don't notice. Maybe it's all the simming this year that staring at the screen. Maybe
I think a lot of it's just like where the screen is and how big it is.
Yeah.
Because the screens are they're 1/2-inch OLED panels, diagonal, and they are within an inch of your eye.
Aren't they focused further out though? I know like VR displays are focused like more like infinity. I don't know about.
It depends on the goggles you have because there's certain goggles that the focus is set, but like the HDO2s, you can actually manually adjust the focus, and that was really cool for me because like both eyes focus differently, so I could see really clearly.
That's cool.
But the Orcas that are gold have more style points and also 60 FPS DVR, so I want.
Also,
that's just
cooler.
Better for me.
They just look cooler.
Yeah, they do look cooler.
That's like the cool.
They look futuristic.
Do you use them now all the time?
Oh yeah.
I mean, just the DVR alone in Orcas is worth it.
Yes, the 60 FPS DVR for both for people watching and then for me to actually learn from is just way better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Okay, we're going to just take one last question because it is actually an interesting one. You kind of touched on this earlier, Mason, but how long have you guys been flying for?
Oh.
In your life?
I guess.
Do you have to think about it? I know how long I've been flying.
Wait, yours was like 12, 13 years, right?
Yeah, it started at RC cars and then RC planes and helis kind of together. And then FPV I got into in 2015.
Okay.
Did you fly collective pitch 3D helis before?
Yep.
Okay, so you do the line of sight crazy.
I wouldn't say crazy, but the line of sight.
You can control it.
I can get it around. I'm not doing any of the crazy nonsense that you've seen.
Yeah.
Maybe slower, but that is, in my opinion, the single hardest form of RC to master.
Yeah.
It's
talk about one instant mistake and everything's over, right?
And that's Mirko Cesena from DCL. That's his wheelhouse.
Yeah,
he's world champion
from RC.
or was.
Yeah, he went this year to Dubai for the World Master.
Yeah. Was
So-
he?
It's so incredible.
Oh, he won.
Did he won? Right? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's what I was gonna say. It was either him or
really,
Duncan
really good.
Yeah, Mirko's insane.
It's so insane.
We met a long time ago.
Interestingly, he
Makes
met
sense.
Minchan through RCA helicopter piloting,
Yeah.
because that's how Minchan got started as well. And then they completely
It's
kind
really
of,
interesting.
by coincidence, ended up both flying a DCL together on drones.
Yeah.
It makes sense that you can translate. If you're incredible at that, you can probably become incredible at
Yeah.
FPV. That's I actually experimented a little bit with drones like that, mainly small ones in like 2011, 2012.
Okay.
But then I flew my first FPV flight in 2013, but it wasn't a mini quad. It was on like a big, actually DJI drone that I built, an F550, a hexacopter. And I actually was using like a original GoPro that had a USB out to video as the FPV camera. And like I had two GoPros on the drone, one to see through and one to like film, which was pretty funny. But then it wasn't until like 2015 when I started flying like kind of FPV. I had built like a hover ship, like 3D printable one in like at the end of 2015. And before that, I had been flying Nano QXs for my Blade, the Nano FPV, if anybody remembers that little brushed FPV drone. Yeah, I had a pretty cool loft in the city, and so me and my buddy would fly around there. And honestly, the only thing I kind of regret is not sticking with FPV for those years there, because I feel like I would have come so much further. But I just got distracted with other things, and I was flying drones for filmmaking on the side and some of my projects. And FPV wasn't really there yet for filmmaking. And it wasn't until FPV kind of got there for filmmaking, with the GoPros being a little better, that I kind of was like, oh, I should start practicing this more. And then as I started practicing it more in like 2017 and into 2018, I realized I loved racing. You know, it was actually like Kenrick invited me to be in like a race and as soon as I kind of like got ready for the race and then participated in it, I was like, wait a second. You know, because it's so much more like, it's so much more challenging. Like it's just structured, whereas like freestyle, like you can just fall into your own patterns of flying the things you fly. Drone racing makes you do certain things, you know? So it's like, I don't know. And then my freestyling got better, and my cinematic flying got better, and my coordinated turns and ability to predict things. So it's, you know,
competition breeds.
And then I'm hyper competitive. So
True.
Yeah, but
cool.
It's tough.
I can imagine, but
it's a
you're
lot of
here
factors.
now. Both of you are now racing, you know, in pro teams, so you're obviously gonna go from better to best. And I wish you guys both a whole lot of luck in the season, in getting your flying better, and most importantly, just enjoy yourselves. At the end of the day, it's obviously it's a competition, but we're all here because, well, you guys are all here because it's something you love. And it's about remembering that, because I think sometimes people get a bit too lost in the competitiveness and don't take the time to just breathe and enjoy the moment that you're living. Life's short, guys.
Absolutely.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. I can't wait to all get together at some crazy track.
Yes.
You know, hopefully we get to do it soon.
That would be a great time. Looking forward to that.
I already feel like I've forged memories and a bond with my team racing together in these events, but doing it like together at a place is going to be
a whole different.
Going to be crazy.
Maybe someone can actually teach me how to fly a drone. That would be an interesting challenge. I would actually
give a
reward to whoever can manage to teach me to fly a drone, because
gotta get you set up on DCL.
Yeah, exactly. We can do it.
I've tried on DCL the game. I am terrible. It's not even funny.
I mean, you've been flying for 6 years, gMan, for drones. Yeah. I've been flying for 6 years for drones. Minchan's been flying for 6 years. Drobot, Thunder, Alex Zamora. There's just a lot of time. It's really like there's no substitute for stick time.
Yeah,
I know we all spent hours and hours crashing and breaking stuff.
But surely when you started, you felt like some sort of bond to it, if that makes sense. You felt like you wanted to stick to it because you felt that there was something there.
I felt like I wanted to switch angle mode back on. You know what I mean? That kind of thing, right? Like I felt like I wanted to keep the training reels on because it was like, even though I flew a lot of line of sight stuff that, you know, I had to keep the orientation and it didn't auto level. So I already had some experience with like controlling these things.
Yeah.
But I like to tell people, and I tell them this when they're switching simulators and switching drones. I'm like, just don't be harsh and judge yourself at the start. You know, you allow yourself to completely fail. Like you have to take away, like you have to be willing to crash over and over again, and then eventually you're going to stop crashing. And the curve of the experience of FPV is like insane, the way your skill grows, and then you become absolutely hooked. And every day that you fly a little bit, you get that much better, and it's just this snowball, and then you get authority over it. And that day when you finally have control and you stop drifting sideways when you don't want to, and you're going through the things you want, I just can't explain like what it feels like. And it's not, and those breakthroughs keep happening. Yeah, you know, like you keep breaking through. You know, that's why, it's crazy. I'm just trying to break through that next, you know.
I mean,
we always are. There's always the next level. And I think no one's first words are Shakespeare. Like you're not going to instantly be crazy or even, you know, most people say mom or dad, like you get one thing and then you figure out the one thing and you move to the next. And it takes so much time to figure out how to do, you know, 2 things at once and then 3 things. And you just learn as you go and you build that experience and that connection to it. And it just eventually becomes pretty natural. Like I don't even, when I'm flying, I don't really think about the stick positions at all. I just think about where I want to go.
Yeah.
So if I know where I want to go, my thumbs and fingers will do the movement for me.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's just, you have to constantly be predicting and reacting to everything that's happening in your visual field.
Yeah.
So you have to know where you want to go and react when you mess up and have to adjust your line.
That sounds like a lot of things to think about at the same time. But if anyone feels like stepping up to the challenge, I'm actually totally for, at some point when we all have more time, doing a let's teach Jess how to fly DCL the game.
That sounds like a Twitch series.
For a very, very entertaining thing of me screaming a lot at his screen.
It'd be like Twitch flies.
It's not. That's pretty normal.
After watching the Grand Prix, I realized that I move around too much, and other people.
Was really funny to see a lot of people doing like this thing.
It's funny because I brought it up to my wife, and she's like, "Oh, it's no big deal. It's, you know, I'm sure it's fine." And I'm like, "Yeah, but if you watch like the fastest guys, they're not moving their head.
It's like a picture."
Yeah, and so
but
there's part of me. I'm gonna force myself to stop. It's gonna be really hard, but I feel like it will come out.
Put yourself in like
across your forehead.
I might. I mean, it's a really hard thing to stop. But
it definitely is, especially if you've done it and you kept doing it. It's such a hard habit to break.
Yeah, and it's one of those ones I'm not going to notice the benefits of not doing it until the intangible later consistency comes or something. It's like I had to retrain myself to get one of my fingers out of the way. I had a finger that I put my like a third finger on my stick for no reason. And it took so much focus to get that out of there.
I can't even imagine how you grip it with,
it was
ultimate
weird.
Pinch technique here. You just like forward, back, and on top of the stick.
On my throttle, I would like rest my middle finger kind of on the flat part of it, and it would get in the way against the top. Yeah, it was
can't
no
send
good.
as hard like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right, guys. Thank you so much for your time, for being here today. I know for you guys it's obviously not ideal timing because it's not at all your time zone, but we appreciate you taking the time. So thank you again to, David isn't here, but we'll all thank him.
David rocks. One last question turned into us chatting for half an hour.
Every time. Like my stomach is making noise, you guys.
All right. Well, let's not do it again.
No, this is an absolute pleasure, honestly. I really hope to have you guys on the show again. Like literally anytime. Yeah. Just holler at your team manager to tell our manager to tell me that we have agents communicating with each other to schedule.
Oh, here soon.
Nice.
Cool.
All right.
Have a lovely
Cool.
day,
Thank you
you
so much,
guys.
guys.
Thank you so much to the
Peace.
Twitch audience for joining us, supporting us, and everything. Tell your friends about us because we're awesome. Shameless promo. And